much tougher climb. And I must emphasize, we are in this Global Investors Meet of Tamil Nadu. So I must emphasize, I see some posters here. Unfortunately, this room doesn't talk about the one poster about Tamil Nadu women that is there in many of the other conference rooms. So I will use the data points that yesterday we heard the Chief Minister, we heard the Industries Minister talk about, and I'll touch upon that to say if it is certainly higher, the participation of women in the overall workforce in Tamil Nadu is much better than the national average. And there are some lessons here. It's much better than national average. Manufacturing participation is pretty low, 10 to 11% if you take across the country. But that was the poster I was looking around for when I was looking that way, is 43%, as Tamil Nadu very proudly presents, of the entire manufacturing workforce is in Tamil Nadu. I think that's really saying something. So there is something in this ecosystem. The benefits, and a number of us have benefited from this, and I'd like to just share some examples. Maybe later I will share that, but I think this holds some insights, and it's worth talking about. What is it that's special about Tamil Nadu that enables this to happen? Does it have insights for us nationally? Does it have insights for us at level of corporates as well? The second two challenges, I talked about three challenges, and I'd perhaps club the next two challenges into one theme to talk about women leadership. And women, I shared some statistics already, women leadership and women entrepreneurship. So everyone hears about the broken rung. The broken rung caused by either societal pressure, maternity, a typical reason for the break, and gender disparity in promotions that impacts the succession pipeline that is available. So if you step back and say, I was reflecting on this, and I want to present this to our panelists as well, that government policy, both at the state and the central level, has been progressive. We've seen education in Tamil Nadu for sure has for decades been in focus. We see a lot of special schemes, maternity benefits, where government has been the benchmark. We see Tamil Nadu mandated creches, for example, and then we have institutional mechanisms, we have training institutes for women, and so on. And internationally, when such institutions have been set up, the impact that they have had in terms of results of participation have been quite good and attributed to those institutions. But that doesn't seem to be the story here. We are still, despite all this, there is still a lot of progress to be made. And here again, I'm actually happy to say that we've had some outstanding leaders from Tamil Nadu. We've had both at a global level, at a national level, and we have a whole range of young entrepreneurs that maybe we'll talk about a little later as well. And I want to, as a going-in hypothesis, I want to put down 3 points that perhaps have really contributed to this in the Tamil Nadu context. One, it's a very progressive society. It's a progressive society which, for multi-decadal emphasis on inclusion and equality. These have been two very strong pillars, it in large measure driven by our socio-political movements that have happened in the state that have focused on inclusion and equality. And then I will take some credit for the large corporate houses, and I will say this on behalf of the encouragement that I've received personally also from my family, to say that large business houses have been very enlightened in terms of encouraging their young women to join the business and play a leadership role. And I think that has a kind of a ripple effect in terms of being inspiring for MSMEs and a bunch of other women entrepreneurs who also benefit from that. And I think the third is that the whole emphasis with the policy bit that I already touched upon. All this together has given us a nice ecosystem. So are there some lessons to be learned? And are there other aspects? The role of the self, the role of venture capitalists in funding women. All our panelists here have very rich experience. They're all active, and I had a very brief conversation with them coming into this panel. All of them very actively involved in mentorship, in interventionist approaches, in promotion, in social change, etc. So let me stop there and request each of our panelists, and the way we'll structure this, we'll do it in two broad themes. First, for the overall just general participation in the workforce, and then we'll come in the second half to leadership and entrepreneurship, to give their maybe a minute or two to talk about your broad ideas, your experiences, and what you would like to see as a way going forward. We'll try to keep this interactive, intersperse it with some questions amongst ourselves, and at the end, of course, open it up for the audience for question and answers. So who would like to go first? Amshita, would you like to go first? I mean, I just made eye contact with you, so I thought, why not ask her to go first? Go ahead.
So the first question you're asking, Mallika, is around what corporates can do?
Anything, whatever. Your broad views on labor force participation. We do lag behind, so
yeah.
Why? What can be done? Anything corporates can do? Just broad ideas.
So it's interesting because I moved to India about 15 years ago, and 15 years ago we were having the same conversation, and the workforce participation for women was about 23-24%. So as Mallika was saying, we've moved up, but we're still far behind the rest of the world. And in my mind, there are three sort of broad buckets in which the issue sort of kind of finds itself, right? One is the one we can't ignore at all, which is society and the personal environment that women are in. And I find, if I look across the parts of the world that I've worked in, I've lived in 9 countries, the level to which stakeholders in an Indian woman's life can have an opinion on what an Indian woman does is more than almost any other society I've ever seen. And that is a huge factor. If you can imagine, I mean, you think about, that is bureaucracy in a person's life, right? Like, if you have to make sure that everyone from your in-laws to your parents to your neighbors to your spouse to your children are okay with the choices that you make in your professional life, it's a huge thing. So one, I think we need to think about the way in which we help women deal with this level of stakeholder management, right? I'll talk a little bit later about an example that I talk about from earlier days in another company of what we did in terms of bringing the mother-in-law in and actually sort of, and in fact, I'll give the example right now. We were looking at women engineers and finding that they were having a hard time staying in the workforce. And when we started talking to them about why they were leaving when they were getting married, still when you have a child, you have a reason, right? You have to look after a child. But when you get married, unless your spouse is also sitting at home all day, why do you leave the workforce, right? And when we were looking into it, we were finding that people were saying, look, the men I work with, when they're at work, if they're late and they come home late, nobody gets upset with them. If I get home late, then I have a house of people who are fairly upset. And most upset is my mother-in-law because she has taken over the work that I was going to do in the home, right? Was serve dinner, whatever else is going on. And so a few of the younger women came up with this really good idea where we created a mother-in-law day, where we invited mothers-in-law in specifically into our R&D centers to see what their daughters-in-law did, right? And this was at GE, and so we showed them that they actually helped reduce infant mortality rates, maternal mortality rates. So the idea of you are freeing up another woman, and by doing that, you are adding to society, right? And the impact was huge. And so, I tell this story where this young woman came into my office a few days later and said, "This is amazing. I got home late from work the other day, and I was expecting a tense household. And my mother-in-law turned to my husband and said, 'Get up and make her a cup of tea. You just work in a bank. She's saving lives.'" So, we can convert stakeholders. We have to think about how to manage stakeholders, right? I'll talk about just one more aspect, and then I'll let other people talk. Then the other thing is in the workplace, right? And in the workplace, I think we have to be unabashed in recognizing the talent that exists with women. There is still this view, whether you're a woman leader or a male leader, that you cannot, that you somehow have bias if you allow a woman to move forward or you encourage ambition. And the truth is, we have as many women graduating from our engineering schools and our medical colleges and all our universities. So there isn't an intellect problem. There is actually just the lack of opportunity, and there's the lack of sort of confidence that we're giving women to have that level of ambition. So my view is that, and I see it with the women on this panel, that we need to be unabashed about helping to make women successful and then identifying the problems within the workspace, right? And I'll give one quick example, anecdote there. Whenever I have started in a new organization, I do roundtables with women across all levels to just understand what their experiences are. And one of the stories I heard was from a new mother who said, I don't know how I can ever win, because if I leave work at 7 or 8 p.m. to get home to my child, I'm accused by my colleagues of, behind my back, the conversation is, she gets to go home early because she's a mom. We also have kids. Now, if I stay late, the conversation behind my back is, what a horrible mother. So who am I supposed to be, right? And these are things that we need to address as people who have lived more, have more experiences, are more senior, to say, you actually just ignore it and you move on. But just some thoughts there.
Perfect. If I can push the concept just one step further, build around the thoughts that you were talking, Ipsita, to say, you talked about mothers-in-law, you talked about saying when your children, it's more understandable when you have children. So what is it that communities can do in order to support children or young children, families with young children, mothers with young children, early age? What is it that communities or corporates can do to help during that phase?
You want to come back to me or
Yeah,
give? So I think the starting point there is getting men more involved. I know this sounds strange, but in helping a man have more time for their home, you're freeing up a woman who may not be your employee. So I think one starting point is that. I see more and more men come to me and say, I need to take half a day off because I have to take my kids to a doctor's appointment. I have to get them their vaccinations. Things that 15 years ago or 10 years ago I wasn't hearing. I was only hearing from the women. So one, I think, is encouraging that. And I'll give you an example. There's a factory that had built a creche to have women come in and leave their children so they could work in the factory and increase participation. And the interesting thing that happened is they found that most of the women that worked for them were under the age of 24 and didn't have children, even if they were married. But sooner or later, the men started using the creche. So they were bringing their children in because the creche was excellent facilities, and suddenly there is no child in the house for that 8-hour shift or that 6-hour shift, right? So I think there's an opportunity to free up time for a woman to do something outside of the house by creating more policies around men. I think the other thing that we need to do is I think we need to listen really carefully to what's happening. I mean, one of my sort of pet peeves, I believe very strongly in having a women's network, and I believe very strongly in having environments where women can talk to each other and sort of talk about things that are important. financial independence, ambition, trends. We talked about this, Mallika, the other day. Yeah. It really bothers me when I look at a women's network agenda for the month and I see pediatrician coming in to talk about children, how to help children concentrate more, nutrition for family. And I turn around and I ask people and I say, why are we doing this in the women's network? Why aren't we doing this for all employees? And people say, well, that's what the women have asked for. And I think we should push back and say, let's talk about financial independence. Let's talk about training your husband to do more in the house. Let's talk about, or bring the men into this session.
Absolutely. But some corporates, and I'm going to move to Prabha next, some corporates have been very successful. And we've seen the benefits. So, for example, I will use some examples from Tamilnadu. If you see Sundaram Clayton increased in their production unit, women workforce in 5 years by about 485%. And very well documented output increase and quality better. Hosur, Ashok Leyland lends one unit with all women. Ola boasts of the largest women's factory in the world. And I can tell you from my own experience, for 25 years or more, we have run what we call J Rehab Center, started off, but it's a production unit, and it has only differently abled women running that unit. And I can say with a great sense of pride that the engagement is the highest engagement score in the company. Quality is 0 ppm, productivity is high, and there's 0 absenteeism. And they worked throughout the COVID, making masks and making new products for different factories. So we know this is very well documented. Some have been able to do it. So I'd like your comments on what are your thoughts about labor force participation, what makes that successful, and what are some of the challenges that we are seeing, how can we address them?
So thanks, Mallika, and thanks for having me on this panel. I think I wanted to just actually firstly step back from an FMCG industry perspective and just talk about the fact that most decisions on what is bought is made by women. So it's utterly bizarre that the people who are producing it and the people who are deciding what the advertising is or what the quality is or what the product is doesn't have a fair representation of women. And I think we are obviously realizing that as we get that balance right, results like you've pointed out on the shop floor or anywhere else tend to improve. I think if I could just build on the couple of things that Ipsita said and maybe add one more. One of the things I do think that women need to do better is to enlist the support of the men in their lives. And I think the men are also waiting for that support to be taken. Most of the men that I know love to be fathers. They would love to have more time with their children. They would love to do a lot of the things that erstwhile would have been thought as being only a female domain. And I think we're just maybe not giving them an opportunity, because equally as we are typecasting women to being the homemaker, we are typecasting the man, saying you must be ambitious, you must be at work till the last person leaves, you must be working harder than everybody else, and you can't say PTA. You can't say child has a cold and today's my day to stay at home, or I'm going to take half a day off because my child has half a day off and we desperately want to see the Avengers movie. I think we need to be able to give the men in our lives a little bit of space to do that, and I think we will start getting a little bit more sharing there as well, and that whole thinking will start changing, because it is a privilege to be a parent. Rather than seeing it as just the burden of being a parent. The last piece I do want to touch upon, though, is safety. I think for us to get better labor participation, or just women in the workforce, we must have a society that is safer. We must have public transport that's able to take them to and from their places of work, or some other way to get to and from, and the ability to do things like night shifts, for example, because again, you will have a conversation that says, why do all the men do the night shifts and why can't women do night shifts as well? And of course they can, but the minute you make the entire society safer, I think we again open up the opportunities for doing that. So that would be kind of my top of mind thoughts on this.
So before I come with a question, I see a lot of men in this room. So I'm going to ask the men in this room to say how many of you would like to spend more time with your children or your grandchildren. And we're going to see every man's hand up. So that's going to be, and the women are going to applaud that. Huh? So why don't you give them a round of applause for that? Because we need to really get them engaged. I can tell you in my house, it is certainly a fight for when Tata can have his time. I'm not sure it is so when the children were growing up. Certainly so when the grandchildren are growing up. So on that note, let me come back to you with a question. So there was an interesting piece of research that the Gates Foundation put out, which talked about working women spend a little over 4 hours, 4.1 to 4.2 was the precise data in terms of working at home, even though they were working, whereas the men spend 0 to 0.4 hours per day doing work. Hi Renuka, welcome. We appreciate the traffic. So just relax, and we are only on theme 1 about getting the workforce participation up. So, and we already did the introduction about you earlier before you joined. So this question therefore refers to how can we address this gap? This 4 hours when women are spending doing work at home in addition to being working women, whereas the men are spending 0.4. So how do we address that? And you are a living example of how you've managed that. So I'm going to pose that question to you.
So I'm going to start actually with a little story during the pandemic where we were virtually meeting a whole lot of our consumers, and I used to handle a dishwash brand at the time. And so we were asking the woman, what are your aspirations and what do you want to do? And she was talking about that, some of that stuff. And then we went on to ask her, but don't you want to go outside, and don't you want to work, and don't you want to do more? Because she was a homemaker. And she looked at us and she goes, how many times have you ever asked a man in one of these discussions, doesn't he want to do more stuff at home? Why is it that we always ask women saying, you want to be a homemaker, you want to be a mom, you want to be a daughter-in-law, you want to be great at work, you want to be very talented at craft? We're asking them to do an awful lot. And actually that comment from this consumer, middle-class lady from Indore in her 30s, and she was super clear. She was like, this is my job, that's his job, and we're quite okay with it. But however, when you do have a chance where women want to go out and work, I think the sharing the load or getting household chores to be done in a manner that is much more equitable than now is something that deserves a conversation. And if I may, I must confess that the only reason I'm able to do this job and many other jobs that I've done in the past is because a lot of the heavy lifting as far as managing the home is concerned is actually done by my husband. And if he didn't do it, I wouldn't be able to do this.
So that was a round of applause for her husband.
I'm definitely not telling him, so I hope he doesn't see this.
Yes, we will. We will when we get the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, Prabha, for coming over to Suchitra. Suchitra, would you like to give your going-in comments on you? I know you're very passionate about women in STEM. So would you like to comment on women in STEM, whatever you are seeing among your researchers, any comments, thoughts for enhancing participation?
Malika, I grew up a little different, so probably what applies to me even back then, 50 years ago, I think still is so true to what I'm doing today. I really give it to my parents, and of that, my father, because it was he who would just stand up and say, go do everything there that a boy is doing in your classroom or in your school or outside, wherever it is, whether you are in the Girl Scouts or in the Boy Scouts and Guides or the NCC, take responsibility and don't just say that this is not my job and just don't back off. So I think I just wanted to start off by saying that because society is not external, but society for us starts at home. And I think our parents and our grandparents become the first driving forces that we all experience initially in those formative years. And of course, the teachers and later on, the mentors that we have as we progress into higher levels of learning. Right now, coming back to where I am today, so that probably left me with a boundaryless brain. So I don't know if many of my interviews to the press, I have reporters and journalists and media personnel asking me, how is it that you are a woman and what do you think that, how do you see entrepreneurship as? I said, wait a minute, entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship, whether it's male or female. There is no genderization in entrepreneurship, because it's the same product or it's the same idea, it's the same technology, the same management practices, finances, marketing, whatever you call it. I mean, people skills, management, everything. So everything is the same, and you have to work with teams. So where is the question of he and she coming in entrepreneurship? It is just the same. So I think if a man can get up and say that he has an idea and he would like to try going about, talking about it, and then drawing, resources for it, I think the women also should be able to do the same thing. I just don't want that factor that being a woman should limit that professional or potential entrepreneur to take a step back and say that, hey, I can't do this. This is not for me. This is not my cup of tea. So that basic mindset is all that we first have to erase completely from our minds. Coming to STEM, when we came back to India in 1996, I spent about 14 years in the United States with Krishna. And Renuka knows us too well since those days. When we came back, Krishna was employee number 1. And guess who was employee number 2? That was me. So I said, this is how I need to set an example in an organization that both of us envisioned to build, to create. Because we started from scratch. In those days, let me tell you, the women were not allowed to come into the second shift. And my facilities were not in parts of the city or in certain areas which is very, the infrastructure is good. We were about 40 kilometers outside of the city of Hyderabad, and that would mean a commute of more than 45 minutes even back in those days. So the second shift was not there. So here we are with the government trying to tell them about how the biotech industry, the life sciences industry, the pharmaceutical industry is all about processes and continuous process happens. There's no stoppage, 24/7. And so we had to really talk and work on that kind of a starting point where our women were not allowed to come into the second shift. But today that's a different story. We've had women, as Malika pointed out, and some of my other panelists, where the pandemic went back to show that it didn't matter whether you are, what gender you bring to the table. We were all together 24/7 at the facilities, non-stop. And not a single woman came and said, why should I come? My mother-in-law told me not to go because of all the COVID protocols. I mean, here we are, quite a strong, capable, confident organization in creating technology platforms for multiple pathogens that we have around us. But still the women came back and said that nobody stopped them. Even their housing, the colonies and the cooperatives and the associations that they belong to said that go to your work and, do what the best that you can bring about in, bringing such kind of life-saving technologies. So the women were there, and many of them, I was surprised, they said, can we come on the second shift? I said, why? Don't you want to come here early in the morning at 6 and leave by 2 or whatever, 2 or 2:30? They said, no, because they said, I don't have to be losing my daytime that I would have to come here, because the work didn't matter. It was the same amount of processes and production and quality and all that which has to take place 24/7. So they said it doesn't matter. They all opted to come for the second shift. They were there from 2 to 10. So they said we get up in the morning, we could do whatever we need to do so that the children and the families, the elders especially, if those of them needed medical support and care and all that, everything was taken care of, because it is still to a large extent the women who have to, you put your foot forward even if they tell you back off. Sometimes it's just that instinct in us, that's probably nature that is given us, and we feel that we are the best multitaskers in the world and we don't let the men come in. Sometimes it happens too, right? So I think many of them felt that it was important that they stayed that little few hours in the morning, finished whatever they need to do for their families, for the children, anybody, and then left for work, and they were not bothered about going back home at midnight. And this was, believe me, all through the pandemic. 2021, I think 2 full complete years, 24 months, these women, most of them, 80% of them, were going back home at midnight. And to tell you just one little short anecdote, I said, weren't you a little feeling uncomfortable because you were not used to this? Most of you were coming in first shifts and general shifts, and now you all chose to come in the second shift. And I said, how are you dealing with this? Though we had our logistics and our transportation up to B2C, in spite of that, they said, not at all, Mrs. Ella. I said, how come? Because the roads were deserted. There was nobody on the streets, and it was not the normal, night. At least even until 10 or 11, sometimes in certain neighborhoods, there's quite a bit of traffic. People said, no, we have the cops standing out there on our streets. And they felt very comfortable, in fact, by saying that the cops would not leave until they saw these buses from Bharat Biotech roll into those streets, drop off these women at the corner of the street, because obviously some of the buses couldn't get into the front of the gate. But they said that the cops were staying there until these women entered their homes. So that was such a kind of a relief to many of them as well. So nothing held them back from coming to work. If push comes to shove, I think gender doesn't matter. So it all comes back to what is it that we are faced to do and how we would like to go about doing that, given the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think those women of Bharat Biotech at a time, like what Chitra was just talking about, she didn't touch upon this, but I'd like to give it an added dimension to say they were also, I am sure, motivated by the fact that they were at a very crucial point and they were saving lives. They were saving lives, and I'm sure a number of you here have benefited from the Covaxin and from the efforts of all of those women. So thank you to those women there. And Renuka, thank you for joining us. And Renuka and I have known each other a long time, and I know we've had many conversations on this topic. So I'm going to go right in, since Renuka didn't get an opportunity for round one, to just go right in with a subject that Suchitra already led us into on entrepreneurship. But I'll pick it up from there to go to our second theme that we wanted to talk about, women leadership and entrepreneurship. And one of, Renuka, your theme has been, to me at least in personal conversation, that women don't aspire enough. That has been towards leadership and towards entrepreneurship. And when I asked her once, I said, how about you're funding women entrepreneurs? The answer I had from Renuka was that I don't see enough. I want to see more so that I can fund. So her observation has been that they don't aspire enough. So we'd like to hear your insights, your observations on women in leadership and how can we build that? Your thoughts.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Real pleasure to be here. Thank you, Malika, for accommodating me. This is the most stressful half an hour I had in my life. But real pleasure to be here in Chennai. Now, getting into the topic of women in leadership and women in entrepreneurship. Now, even today, right, the statistics on women in leadership is single-digit number. in financial services, which is a very woman-friendly sector, right? I mean, we have had RBI deputy governors, women, 25 years back. We have had many, many women in banking and other allied financial services. But even today, the women in leadership in financial services is only 15%. When I dug into some numbers for this event, and I was myself quite unpleasantly surprised. I'm not sure, I've not done enough of research to see why this really happens, but quite empirically, I would say that probably women stay shy of taking risk, because my hypothesis is women don't want to fail. Women are extremely capable of handling very ambiguous jobs. I've seen that in my workplace. Whenever I have a ill-defined job, I would be more comfortable to hand it over to a woman than a man. They are very, very capable of handling ambiguity, but I feel they stop shy of taking the risk, putting the neck on the line, holding out their opinion and saying, this is how we need to lead this initiative, lead this organization, or lead this business. Probably somewhere in the back of the mind, they worry about how much time they can commit. They worry about if they turn out a failure, whether they'll be able to justify to themselves. This is again just my personal hypothesis, that because of these years of conditioning, there is always a little bit of guilt we leave our homes from when we go to work as a woman, no matter in what position you are in. I like to believe that when your child is ill, the mother will feel little more guilty than the father even today to leave the house. So when you are leaving the house to pursue your passion, your career, at the very minimum you want to tell yourself that I am successful. And if by chance the choices that you make turn out to be a failure, your guilt will kind of really consume you. And therefore, probably they navigate their life around, what will give them the assurance that they will not fail. And that's the only thing I can think
so
of.
So you'd mentioned a lot about conditioning and risk averse. So would you like to share with the audience maybe an instance where you have taken risk? You take risks on a daily basis. You place bets on a daily basis, and we place our bets on Renuka. It's very simple, because she invests for everyone, and so we place our bets on Renuka. Renuka places the bets in the market. Yeah. So she talks about being risk averse. So please tell us a little bit about your dealing with risk.
Yeah. So I do not know how I got comfortable with taking risk. My business is only about assuming risk. And Malika, it was interesting. I got my team to dig into the details to see how many women-led firms are there in the world who do the business that I do, which is private investing. It's a princely number of 2% globally. There are only 2% women-led firms in my business globally. So for our business, the percentage of women in senior position is a very small single-digit number. Again, speaking to the nature of the business, which is all about, taking risk. So what has motivated me personally, right from my childhood, is I will decide what I want to get, and I will really not bother about how difficult the road is. My mind and my eyes are set only in the goalpost, and everything else I will manage along the way. That's the confidence I have had. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. Suchitra spoke about her business. We were investors. We have portfolio companies running into multiple tens, if not hundreds. And each of their problem in some ways our problem too, in terms of, how do we navigate the situation. So I would urge that success or failure, and especially the way we define for ourselves, should not be a deterrent. And how do you train yourself, for that? How do you how do you train yourself that seeking your passion, wanting to do what you want to do, whether you are a woman or a man, is the right thing to do. And just because I'm a woman, I will not subserve my passion, my interest, my desire to other things. But equally, I am not a feminist or a, kind of activist person. You cannot imagine a more family-oriented person than me. It is a question of organizing, and I've seen that about Malika also, in our interactions. We've never compromised our family. Equally not compromised our career, right? So
right.
you have to partner people around you. I will tell you a hilarious story. I had to go for a surgery for myself, and the hospital required that I should get admitted by 6 p.m. And I was already CEO of ICICI Venture, and this was a bit unplanned in the sense I had postponed it to the point that I couldn't postpone anymore. So I didn't have too much time to prepare. So in a week's time, I kind of chose the date. And unfortunately, on the day I was to get admitted, there was a bereavement of a very close family member. So I had to go and attend there. So I lost 2-3 hours there and I had to make up. But hospital rule required that I get admitted. I admitted my secretary. She was sitting there. And when the doctor and other attendants came, she said, no, I'm not the patient. And they said, we have never experienced this in 100 years of our history. I said, welcome to Renuka's world, right? So you've got to partner people around and you've got to find solutions for your own situation. Imagining that others haven't done it and therefore I cannot do it out, this is the only way it will happen, will be a very constraining, kind of mindset. And once you set your goal, you make that clear to your family and your children, your spouse, and you're quite determined that to walk this path, this is the support system I need. No task is impossible. And with every passing year, I would say that the support is only more. So I would ardently kind of encourage women to take risk and be comfortable with it, because not taking risk is the biggest risk we assume actually.
Thank you. And before we open up and I make some concluding remarks and open up, I want one quick kind of rapid fire question to all of you, because what's emerging as a theme is really, we talked about the role of men, we talked about sharing load, we talked about mindset change, perspectives have to be different. So if you had to put 2 words around it, I would say social transformation. So if it is social transformation, then I just like one very, very quick comment on what kind of social transformation are we expecting from the world around us in a multi-stakeholder kind of environment. You want to start, Chitra? Just go down the line. Very, very short comment, and then I'll open it up.
I think just don't stop the girl from going through her set of passions. Let her not live for passions that others have built. But I think it's important that as a system, the environment around has to let her be, irrespective of success or failure. And just don't judge her by, what she has. She need not stereotype. Just let her be. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think get that approval. Be asked. Be smart. Be perfect. Be pretty. Don't ask. Don't take the risk. Be asked, right? But we need co-conspirators that help us take risk and fail because of those risks.
I'm going to maybe just build from there and put out a plea of just be more vocal, whether you're at home or at work, and you will find that people will step up to help.
So One deep desire I have is if all state governments can look at the curriculum right from school. I feel every story, every imagery, every picture, every moral has to be changed. And this mindset change has to happen from very, very young years. It's not that the mother will cook and father will go to office. Mother will do craft, father will solve math problems. If there is a money problem at home, it is only the father's issue. I think we've got to demolish all of this. It's a family is one unit. Let the better person do better things. If father is better in drawing and mother is better in math, let them just do that job and do good for the family. Like today, my son cooks at home. My daughter-in-law can only bake. She cannot cook. And even for a person like me, when my grandson says, Dada made yummy breakfast for me, for a minute it just feels odd to me that, so we are all victims of these years of conditioning, and we've got to break it at the grassroots level, at a very young age. And whether it is TV shows, whether it is stories in storybooks or in curriculum, it has to change. And we have to say, let the right person do the right job, whether it is a man or a woman.
Thank you. And I'll add my own suggestion to the social transformation. I think we've seen extraordinary examples of private-public participation and public infrastructure. An outstanding example is our own digital public infrastructure that has transformed the way quality childcare as a public infrastructure that would go a very, very densely populated quality child for question and answers. I think we've heard today about government policy that is playing a very, very good and progressive role, and my special compliments to the Tamilnadu government for the policy and the ecosystem that we have built over decades that has enabled this participation in the workforce. So government is doing its bit by and large. Center or state is doing its bit. Today we have seen a number of excellent suggestions that have come up. We heard about infrastructure enhancement for women, the public infrastructure, the toilets, the transportation, etc. We heard about vocational education. We heard about women in STEM. We heard about mentorship. We heard about childcare. We talked about educational curriculum, the transformation of the educational curriculum, and perhaps maybe if I will take the liberty of extending that to parenting as well, and say not just education, but certainly parenting. And what can corporates do? Mentorship programs, she-focused programs, and we heard some examples of don't focus just on traditional roles that women play, but let's focus our programs on empowerment of women, because by economic empowerment alone can we nibble away at the most important change that will enhance participation, leadership, and entrepreneurship, which is the last point that we stressed upon, is social transformation. So economic empowerment and social transformation as the route to really the faster growth of women across the board, in participation, leadership, as well as in entrepreneurship. So as we
Malika,
open,
with your permission,
Sure.
just one very positive point that as a person from the financial field I would like to bring is the microfinance and the revolution that it has brought about in self-employed
Yes.
women. So in our country, we have disbursed about 4 lakh crores in microfinance. About 7 crore families have benefited from it. And there is a 10% movement of the needle. So from 18%, it has moved to 28% of women who have borrowed from microfinance and created self-employment. So while women are not willing to take risk in large corporates for others, when it comes to for taking a risk for themselves, where they are committing their time, their effort to make good the money, bring more income to the family and repay the money, they have been exemplars. So the rural India has benefited greatly from women empowerment in microfinance.
Super.
And we've got to now take the women's confidence in taking responsibility for others' money, others' career, others' jobs as well. Yeah.
And as an allied point, Renuka, picking up from there, is I think the very enlightened approach towards self-help groups initiated by many corporates that has really played a very transformative role if we're talking about social transformation and certainly microfinancing, and that are fairly. Tamil Nadu is a leader in that, and a number of CSR organizations and the government have. Yes, everybody's, you can see we're all bursting with ideas here. And I'm sure there are enough number of questions, but I am going to keep this really short and rapid with this so we can give an opportunity to our audience.
I just wanted to add from the sector that I come from, the life sciences, it's completely knowledge driven. So don't, let us not stereotype these women and the workforce that we have in my organization. We have broken certain glass ceilings. I'm so proud to be sitting here in front of you to admit that my research director is Dr. Sumati.
Super.
It's led by a woman. And this is not just, I'm not talking, she's not doing theoretical science, but, this is her team and her entire group of scientists. Just look at the molecular biology and look at how new antigens and new pathogens have to be dealt with. My head of production in one of the important viral vaccines that we make for India and for the rest of the world is led by a woman leader. She is the head of production on a production floor, which is completely GMP, and it's like entering into a zone which you are not comfortable at all, being there 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day. So there are many such areas, because this is all knowledge. We are in a knowledge economy right now, and the future is going to be like that. We need to build upon the knowledge and the skill set that each one of them can personally contribute and also take themselves forward in their careers and also serve the organization, but more than that, serve the country at large. I think by depriving these roles and responsibilities to some of these extremely pursuant and talented women, I think we are doing ourselves great injustice, and by doing so to the country as well. Thank you.
Thank you. As we look to showcase more and more of these stories that we heard about, and as we do more communication, propagation in a multi-stakeholder approach, we look forward to making great progress in the area. Let me open it up to some Q&A before I do a formal thanks to the government. Yeah. Would you like to pass that mic around, please? If you have someone specific that you're addressing it to. I think we'll have time for only about 3 or 4 questions. So keep your question really short. And I'm going to tell our panelists to keep their answers also very short.
Sure. Hi ma'am, it was a great session. Me and my wife, we run a mental health company. We both are chartered accountants. So we're a team of 85 and 82 of us are women in the company. So it's called the Mind Run Company. So I just need one help in this. So when we go and networking with people, sometimes my wife and the team members face harassment from bureaucrats. So from people of power. So how do we deal with it? How do I tell my wife? To get through that, or the team members. So how do we get through that?
That's a very difficult question because the whole definition, you had us all spellbound over there. Because I think the whole definition of harassment itself, first we have to dwell upon, and we do need to address that perhaps case to case, and there may not be a formula answer. You will see prejudices in many places, starting not just, let's not isolate bureaucrats. I think that's unfair. I think it's all over the place, right up to the biggest corporate boardrooms. So you will face that, and I think with patience, with a little bit of patience, and to me, the one trick, and I'll take that question a bit personally to say, the one trick that has all, it's not a trick, it's a habit, is to stay calm. To stay calm and very careful with the use of language. If you do that, I think most often you can counter that situation. So let's move that around.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My question is on the point of flexible working. Increasingly women are ditching the 9-to-5 jobs and choosing freelancing or a consulting mode of working, especially the post-pandemic. How, as women-led organizations, you support such initiatives?
Do you want to take that? Yeah, sure.
I think it's very important to have flexible working because it's undeniable, and all of us have talked about this, that there are points in women's lives where they do have greater share of responsibility in a family environment, and actually in anyone's life. Even a man can have aging parents or so on. My big worry with this is it would really be very sad if our entire gender decided to work from home or have flexible hours because of something Prabha said earlier. If we are not in the boardrooms and we do not have a seat at the table, then men will be making decisions for us for everything that we buy or live with or work or play with, right? And so I think it's really important to push. One of the things that I really push when I'm in a women's forum speaking, if you have a medical degree or an engineering degree or any kind of degree, you've taken that seat. So when you decide to stay home, not forced by anyone, that seat could have gone to somebody else who would have gone out and contributed to society, right? So I just think, I really feel that it's very important for at least in stages in women's lives to have that flexibility, but to show up in the environments where decisions are made.
Sorry, if I could maybe just borrow Mallika's philosophy and add one word to it. I think it's a little bit about balance, which is being there in the moments that matter and having the flexibility in the moments that matter. And I think most organizations are certainly seeing the value of being able to do that, and they don't want to lose good talent just because you're not there 100% of the time.
I want to just add one thing to that, right? It's very difficult. I'll just use the medical environment as an example. It's very difficult to be a surgeon and not show up. I don't want all women to become a profession that would allow them to be the kind of doctor that only has to show up for 2-3 hours, right? So just not to make the decision ahead of time and to lean in the moments that we have to.
Thanks.
Can I say something? I think it's post-pandemic. What changed? Nothing changed, right? I think there's all the more need for us to lean forward, jump in, take those roles and responsibility, the challenges rather, not even, forget about the roles and responsibilities. I think the challenges that came up because of the pandemic and the opportunities that showed up as well. So I think if half of us felt that we could sit at home or take part-time jobs, aren't we kind of like, I don't know, where are we going? Forward or backward? And I think I love this number. India is one of those very, very, very few countries in the world. We have 500 million plus women in this country. Can we put that to good use? Please? I don't wish to see an India, not enabling her own women to be out there in the workforce and contribute to this economy and to the growth of this country. As Malika pointed out earlier, we're talking about the third largest economy and all that global things that are floating around us. But if all of us started if most of us, at least some of us, started looking at not being able to contribute to that, then where does that take us? Forward or backward? Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have time for one last question.
Thanks, Malika, for moderating this panel for us. This question is to you. Leading a family business has its own advantages and disadvantages, how much ever you have been creative and innovative in it. I would like to know how you have treated failure and failure has treated you.
So I don't know if it has anything to do with family business. It has everything to do with failure and how it has treated you, and that's all part of the experience. There's a saying that if you don't have a major failure before you are 40, then you're not going to be a good leader. So we have to take it. We have to take it. That's par for the course. You've got to take that. It'll come. It'll come. We have to face it. It makes us stronger. It makes us wiser, stronger, hopefully calmer. So I think we just have to take that in our stride. It's got really nothing to do with family business. Anybody in any leadership business, family business has only the additional dimension of having to manage a lot more stakeholders than you would otherwise imagine. So that's the only difference. So absolutely, I'm getting like alarm bells from this side. So that's the last question, please.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk offline. We're happy to stay back and talk. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm a student. So my question is open to the panel. What would your advice or message be for female students who are graduating and are entering the workforce?
Anybody else wants to take this question?
I think you're really lucky. This is a fantastic time to be graduating in this country.
Yes.
Go out there and just make your dreams happen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, before I hand back to Nancy, on behalf of all of us at the panel, my thanks to the Tamil Nadu government and to the Tamil Nadu guidance for such a fantastic 2 days that we've been having very thought-provoking discussions. Thank you so much. You've been great. And a bubble of energy. Please stand up. We want to showcase one of our female leaders who put this together for us. So big hand, big round for her. She did a lot of work for the gym and made sure each of us was here to participate in this conference. So thank you. And we look forward to Tamil Nadu and the Tamil people being thought leaders and torchbearers when it comes to women's empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our audience for the lively participation. And should you have any other queries, I think you can take it offline after the session. So, and again, thank you to all our speakers for, taking this session so interestingly and for sharing your expertise and experience on this crucial topic. Thank you once again. And having said that, as we near the conclusion of this event, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all of our honorable speakers over here. So, to do the honors, let me invite Mr. Hansraj Verma, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Chairman and Managing Director of the Tamil Nadu Industrial Investment Corporation onto the dais. Please put your hands together for Sir. Please, sir, join us. Thank you so much for joining us today. Your presence means a lot. And now, he will be handing over a memento to all of our speakers. So we are presenting a memento which is basically the Jallikattu, which represents resilience, strength, and rich cultural heritage of Tamil Nadu. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to keep your claps rolling on. Along with the Jallikattu Bull, they are receiving yes. After this, we will have a group photograph. We believe this moment will serve as a reminder, a lasting reminder, and for the profound insights that has been shared in this session. Let's have a group photograph now. I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to every individual present in this hall, along with our speakers. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule in being here. So followed by this session, we have our closing ceremony, the valedictory session, which is happening in the same inauguration hall which happened yesterday at 4 p.m. So I think it's almost 3:20 and we'll see you all in the inauguration hall for the valedictory function. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Nandri and Vanakkam.
French Foreign Trade Advisors, also known as CCEF, Alliance Française of Madras, and La French Tech. I'm Viji. I'm the Press and Protocol Attaché at the Consulate General of France in Pondicherry and Chennai, and I will be the master of the ceremony for this session. Without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Johan Samuel, Regional Director, Southern Region, Indo-French Chamber of Commerce, to give his welcome remarks.
Thank you, Vijay. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and distinguished participants, welcome to the France country session of the Tamilnadu Global Investors Meet 2024 here in Chennai, organized by the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry, also known as IFCI, and the Consulate of France in Pondicherry and Chennai, and the entire team France and India. It's a privilege to gather here today for this session, where we will focus on two themes that are Industry 5.0 and the crucial strategies of diversity and inclusion in the workplace, that are some of the many important topics which France as a country, through its companies present in India and particularly in Tamil Nadu, is focusing on. Innovation knows no boundaries, and Industry 5.0 exemplifies this by merging cutting-edge technology with human expertise. In the current context that we find ourselves in, diversity and inclusion emerges as a fundamental imperative. They are not merely concepts, but catalysts for growth and excellence. We gather here today to explore how these values are not only pivotal for economic progress, but also for fostering dynamic and balanced work environments. We stand united in our pursuit of excellence, ready to discover how Industry 5.0 can be the impetus for transformational change, where diversity and inclusion are not just celebrated, but deeply woven into the fabric of our success. Before we start our session today, I would like to acknowledge the many French companies that are part of the French pavilion, on the ground floor, especially our different partners, many of whom that you will hear from today during this country session. Namely, our gold partners Valeo and Mishla, our silver partners Cryolor Asia Pacific, Numeric, Precious Molan and Technip Energies, and our global mobility partners Anywhere India. I wish you all a wonderful session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us today Mrs. Lise Talbot-Barry, Consul General of France in Pondicherry and Chennai. Mrs. Barry's diplomatic career spanning over 20 years, where she has served in a number of high-level positions across countries and has also been the special advisor to the Director of Asia and Oceanic in Paris. Please join me in welcoming Madame la Consul General on stage for a special address.
Vanakkam, I'm not sure you're able to see me. I'm not visible. Can I just... Okay, I'm gonna do like this. It's quite unusual. So, Vanakkam, Inye Putandu Valtekel. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna improvise, so I won't be able to hold my speech and read it at the same time with the mic. I sit. Okay. So thank you all for coming for this French session. I would like to start by big thanks to the government of Tamilnadu for having France as a country partner. A special gratitude to the Honorable Chief Minister and to the Honorable Minister of Industry, who have showed great support to us. This is much better. Who have showed great support to us, and they were, and since then our relation just kept growing. France has been a country partner at the gym right from the beginning. We were participating at the first and second edition. And I have to say this third edition is really surprising, really amazing. Yeah, we could see really an upgrade, massive upgrade in the quality of organization and quality of companies present within the fair, and also thanks to the French companies investing in Tamil Nadu. As Vijay and you had said, it's a teamwork, so we're working as Team France. It's not only the Consulate General of France in Puducherry and Chennai, it's also in the French Chamber of Commerce with the Business France, our trade agency, the Trade Economic Service of the Embassy, and the network of our trade advisor, foreign trade advisor, which are voluntary businessmen, French businessmen doing business in India, who are helping us promoting business ties and B2B contacts. So, and as they are entering the room, so special thanks to the network of CCEF, who have been working with us very hard to build this country session, and the French pavilion. So I strongly invite you to visit the Pavillon France on the ground floor. As Johan said, we have 9 companies on the pavilion. We also have a cultural space with digital arts, augmented reality and virtual reality in arts, that we wanted to showcase what France can do best in terms of expertise in industry, in innovation, and in culture. So please visit our stand. Before for this very interesting session, I would like to say a few words on our bilateral relation. As I was saying, France and India have been enjoying the Indian Army marching down the Champs-Élysées, and the Indian Air Force Rafale flying over Paris. So the symbol of having a foreign fighter jet flying over your capital city, You don't see that every day, but it's really the symbol of what we wanted to show, of our leaders wanted to show the world, this friendship, trust and fraternity between France and India, and what we would like to build together, what we are doing, and of course we want to do much more. Next Olympic Games next summer, so I invite you also to visit Paris during this just amazing international sports event. And for those who cannot make it to France, we'll have fan zones in Pondicherry where you will be able to watch all the events of the Olympics. So as this momentum is going on, we are not stopping here. We had the chance last year to have our first visit, the first visit of a French minister in Chennai, thanks to the G20 Environment Ministerial Meeting. So we had the chance to welcome Mr. Beshu, our Environment Minister, who came to Chennai last July. And as Tamil Nadu is at the center of our relation with India, our new ambassador last year, who took charge in September, wanted to come very, very quickly to Chennai. And so he came to us in October, beginning of October, among his first trips outside Delhi. So Mr. Matou, Thierry Matou, new ambassador of France to India, visited us very shortly after taking charge. And to keep this dynamic going on, we have the honor, as France will be the guest of honor of your Republic Day, and French President, the President of the French Republic, Mr. Emmanuel Macron, will be the guest of honor in Delhi on January 26th. So this is to show you the momentum we have. We have a roadmap between our two countries to develop our relationship on the next 25 years, with a strong focus on defense, space, nuclear energy among the defense and sovereignty pillar of this strategic partnership. We also have a very strong focus on partnership for the planet and how we can work together to have a better, more sustainable development, more sustainable cities with more sustainable services to the population, to our people, and a partnership for people with all education, science, sports, culture, cooperation. What about France in Tamil Nadu? So as I said, we have a long history, and we have a strong presence in Tamil Nadu. You know that the French community in the south of India is 2/3 of the French community in all India. They are all here in Tamil Nadu and in Pondicherry. In Tamil Nadu, we have 170 French companies with long-term commitments, long-term investments. They have created over 65,000 jobs in Tamil Nadu. The overall investment, we estimate at 4.4 billion euros invested between 2023 and 2023. And as you will see this afternoon in the memorandum at the standing ceremony, that our French company keep investing in Tamil Nadu. We believe in the strength of this state, and we want to stand on this strong friendship and trust and history that we're sharing to build together a better future for our people. So I wish you all the best for this first session. Visit us on our pavilion. Please enjoy, connect, make the best of this great event. Have a nice day. Thank you. Nandri, Vanakkam.
Thank you, Madam, for an insightful beginning to this session. Let us now move on to the first part of France Country session, which is a panel discussion on Industry 5.0, transforming the manufacturing landscape. Our moderator for the session will be Mr. Sukumar Bhaskar, partner Ernst & Young. Mr. Sukumar has 27 plus years of technology experience, including enterprise integration services, product engineering, analytical enablement. He provides consulting advice on strategy and vision for adoption of digital technologies, end-to-end process improvement, digital transformation, and data analytics. Please, can we have you on stage, sir? Moving on to our esteemed panelists. First, I would like to invite Mr. Florent Strobel, Executive Director, Krylor, on stage. With over 25 years of experience, in different industries, including aluminum, steel, construction material, and manufacturing in France and abroad, French Foreign Trade Advisor since 2021, Krylor is a subsidiary of Air Liquide Group, which hires 67,000 people in more than 80 countries all over the world. Welcome, Mr. Strobel. Please, may I now invite Mr. Florent Chausset, Executive Director, Michelin, on stage, please. He is also one of the head of Michelin manufacturing operations near Chennai in Tamil Nadu. He has worked in 10 different countries in 9 different positions, majorly in industrial engineering and production system foundation. Across his career as a project leader and production manager, he has worked with 8 factories while supporting 21 others in their mission and key projects. Welcome, Mr. Chausset. Next, we have Mr. Satpal Singh, CEO, Numeric. Mr. Singh is an alumnus of Harvard Business School and has a strong background in leading and transforming organizations with over 15 years of experience in manufacturing, oil and gas, and energy companies with the geographic responsibilities covering India, Middle East, and Asia. Welcome, sir. Our final panelist for this topic, Mr. Santosh Ramakrishnan, Director, Pressia Molen. Mr. Santosh has come associated with Pressia Molen for over 8 years. A joint venture family company between India and France is a 150-year-old French company in weighing industry. Welcome, Mr. Santosh. Now, over to you, Mr. Bhaskar.
Hello. Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome all to this session and welcome to the eminent speakers. Really looking forward to a good discussion. Let's probably start with a warm-up. I'll go to each of you, and if you all can share, what do you think about this great partnership which Madam was saying about India and France, specifically Tamil Nadu? What has been your experience? I know Santosh is a local, he has been here, but the others are moved recently to Chennai. So any words, and then we can get into the topic. You want to start, Strobel? Or, yeah, please.
So Krylor has settled in Tamil Nadu about 15 years ago. And it takes time, I think, to build a strong partnership here between a French company and Indian. But once it is on the rail, it's creating amazing added value. And I think that's long-term partnership is the key to succeed in India. That's my belief.
So for us, we represent Legrand as a French arm which has been in India for 25 years. And what we have seen is both the countries, particularly, they are forward-looking countries and have an amazing level of trust, which is also getting demonstrated through what we are seeing in the recent times. And this trust is also not just for the business, but also towards the sustainability aspect, how the communities on both the sides can have better lives. So that's something which is amazing, and both the countries together are doing fabulous jobs. So that's very unique to me, and I'm seeing that there's a good traction getting built there.
Great, thank you. Santosh? Oh, okay, you're short of a mic, if you can help me.
Hello. Yeah, in fact, my experience was that, as you said, I am born and brought up in Tamil Nadu, and I've been studying and moving abroad for a lot of time. And I've spent a considerable amount of time because I did my master's in France, and now again my executive MBA from a French university. So what I feel the connect between Tamil Nadu and France is that we were also a joint venture family business between a French family and an Indian family. So the trust, there are so many similarities between the countries, and especially in the recent years, in the last few years, the interactions between the countries has become more, more and more involving. So I strongly feel that the similarities between the countries, even the cultures, is going to be a very key factor, and more the exchange programs. So when I go to France, I well understand now the culture of France, which was not the case 10 years back. So similarly, more and more French people coming to Tamil Nadu, the culture, once they start to understand, we can move forward and make great successes. That's what I believe in. Yeah.
Thank you. Josa?
Yes, so for Michelin, we just celebrated our 10 years. It was last September, 10 years of industrial activities in Chennai and in India. We have one of the latest factories of Michelin in the world here. And so it means also one of the most modern factories of the group Michelin in the world.
Awesome. Yeah, love to hear about all that. So maybe first things first, what is the topic today, Industry 5.2, and great audience has showed up. We'll talk about what is Industry 5.2, what are the triggers driving us towards this, and how are these companies planning to leverage and preparing for the industrial revolution. So starting with Industry 5.2, maybe I'll try setting a context. I'm currently in EY, but prior to this I have been in manufacturing for a long time, and we did implement a lot of solutions using Industry 4.2. But for people who are not familiar with what the industrial revolution has been, so we definitely have had 4 industrial revolutions, which is well documented and accepted, starting with the 1.2 in the 18th century, which was powered by steam engine and mechanized production. 2.0 was more assembly production and electrification. Electricity was a big invention. And the third one is in the 1970s, right? It's getting shorter and shorter, and computers and automation drove that. And whereas in 4.0, clearly information intelligence was driving. It was about IoT, connected devices, big data, and the drivers were better compute, cheaper network bandwidth, cheaper storage. So something which from 2010 to 11 has been influencing manufacturing, and every time there is industrial revolution, the key is there is a quantum leap in productivity, right? That's the goal. So why is there such a quick definition of the next revolution happening? Let's look at Industry 4.0 from my perspective, and we're going to hear from the speakers. I think great achievement has been made in the last 10 to 15 to 12 years in implementing Industry 4.2, but there have been challenges too, right? It has been cost prohibitive for a lot of companies. The machines are extremely expensive to set up and so that they can talk to each other. One, adoption, like for example, augmented reality, to assign a glass to each of the site engineers or the ones who are working on the floor is prohibitive, and also adoption has been difficult, right? Bulky glasses for work instructions and so on. That is true. Data privacy has been an issue, regulatory compliance, and so on. But different companies have had different levels of maturity in implementing this. But the question arises is, did we achieve what we set out for? And I think the industry is taking a step back. And did we actually increase or improve the human race? Did we forward it? Are we happier, healthier, safer? Healthier, one COVID can completely negate all the advancements we made. I think we were quite helpless. So that is one. Are we resilient enough, right? Two, did Industry 4.2 actually add jobs, or did it reduce jobs? What is the impact of unemployment? Second, another question. Three, on automation, are companies doing automation for the sake of automation? Is there really ROI? For example, I was with a friend recently in the US. In a Tesla, the car automatically goes to a signal, it identifies a signal, it gives yield, and then takes a left turn. I was wondering about two things. One, when will it work in India, right? With all kinds of objects coming from all directions. I think that will be the best program ever written. That is one. But more importantly for me, hey, I want to drive, I want to turn the steering myself, I want to apply brakes, I want to horn myself. Is that really, are we getting a solution and looking for a problem? Are we really investing in the right technologies for the right solutions, and are we forwarding the race? So Industry 5.2 is moving the discussion from robots being at the center to human. So it is going to be human-centric. Have we improved our situation in environment? The answer can be neutral or even no, right? And are we consuming more energy? So how does Industry 5.2 and the advancements actually help with ESG too? Resilience we talked about. And is there an opportunity to personalize products for the consumer? So this is Industry 5.2 is what I understand, but I understand very little. These are companies who are actually actioning it, and we would like to know more from them. So I'm going to start with that. Yes, go ahead.
In fact, I have a completely different perspective about Industry 4.0 and 5.0. If you see that in the industrial revolutions in the past, from 1.0 to 2.0, it took around 200 years. And then 3.0, around 100 years. And now at 4.0, we are close to less than 50 years. So the transformation is becoming faster. And what I feel is that we need to move from having a mentality of stakeholder capitalism to from shareholder capitalism to stakeholder capitalism. Because we were focusing on the Industry 4.0 a lot, mainly to improve the profits. There are two worlds today, two silos. One silo, as businesses, everybody wants to make profit. And then in the last generations, we were making profit as a key motto. And then moving forward, that was the motto. And there is another silo which was operating, which was focusing more on philanthropic activities, social development goals, etc. So now there is a rift between these two parts of two different silos, one on profit and the other one on sustainable goals. So when this rift is there, that is the need when we are moving towards Industry 5.0. How do we solve and connect this rift where businesses can help on social development goals? In fact, today, even at the Tamilnadu gym, the motto of sustainability and inclusivity. So this is not been spoken in the past. So I think this is the need, and I also feel younger generations are now coming into the workforce who feel that they want to leave something back to the planet. And that is where they feel it's not just about technology moving from 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. We can even keep at 4 and continue. But what is behind and what is more important is from 4.2 to 5.0, how are we going to use the sustainability, the inclusivity concepts, and how machines and humans can interact in a way that it is going to be developing a sustainable future and a better future, especially with the newer generations, newer workforce entering the market. They want to do that. And that is why I feel that the 5.0 is becoming a more transformation rather than the technology itself. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Satpal. Maybe building on this, Strobel, I want to start with you. Describe your journey in implementing 4.2 solutions, Industry 4.2, and what challenges have you faced, lessons learned, and how did you overcome?
First of all, there's a huge difference, I would say, in implementing automation from Europe perspective and from Indian perspective. In Europe, the growth is not that much, so the importance is to be competitive. The manpower is expensive, so we have to reduce manpower, and probably we are more replacing human by automation. In India, there is a different perspective. Manpower is not so expensive. It's cheap, so the ROI is much lesser if you just base your investment on savings. So you have to consider growth, and you have also to consider how you will improve the experience of your stakeholders. How you improve customer experience, how you improve employee experience, supplier experience, manager experience. So what we did at Cryora, we recently implemented a lot of automation in our process that we were not having before. And we focused on how we can streamline our process to improve our, to increase our production capacity, to remove some safety issues or penable works like grinding or pouring some bags and so on. So we implemented the automation in that purpose and considering the ROI more on growth than on savings. So that's one of the perspectives. Second, of course, is the data collection. We try to collect data everywhere. We want to have more and more knowledge about our process. It's difficult then after to measure whatever is relevant and whatever is less relevant. And as you said, automation is not, should be not a goal on its own. It should add value to the company, it should add value to the stakeholders, it should add value to everyone.
Thank you, thank you. So maybe let's go into 5.2. Chosar, this is for you. So how do you believe Industry 5.2 can impact productivity and efficiency? And will it further the benefits which you have achieved through 4.2?
Okay, thank you for the question. So I will talk specifically for Michelin, and I have the question just before to enter the room, because as I said in my introduction, Michelin Chennai is one of the most recent factories of the group. And if today we build the same factories in Europe, we will have exactly the same quantity of manpower. It's not because we are here in India that we deploy your factories with an automatized process. Because in Michelin, we have a worldwide process that is a question of generation. And when you build the last factories, you come with the automatic factories already. And it was the case 10 years ago when the factory was created. So for us to move to Industry 5.0 was not a big step, because we have already all this infrastructure in place at the site. And we, as we are also Michelin, we don't think country or factories. We have a group strategy that deploys the same solutions. So this is why today, and I compare to the latest factory that I visited last year, Daimler in Chennai, Ford in Thailand, or Toyota in France, I can say that we have a certain advance on the interface that you created between the operator and the process. And today, to answer your question about do we have gain? Yes, we have gain. We have gain with Industry 5.0 because it's not only how you capture the information, how you visualize the information. It is how you make this information available and used at the right time. How many information are collected in the factories and are never used? So many times, teraoctets of data that are never used. With the strategy of 5.0, we want to give the access to all this information to the operator. And by this is where we generate a lot of gain. Because you don't wait the day after or the week after to have somebody analyze this data to take a decision or to explain you what you should do 1 week ago. Here, with 5.0, we give this information in real time to the operator. And today, by the training we gave to all of them, we ask them to take immediately the decision of what they have to do, how they have to react.
So it's more real time. So that's great. What other technologies have you implemented? I think 3D printing, I read you had implemented, or what else?
3D printing was before. We don't have that in India because, you know, in Michelin, it's, you have different type of factories in the world. You have factories who produce metal, some factories produce rubber, some factories produce tires. So here in Chennai, we produce rubber and tires. type of technology that we have, it is the real time of the information. That's really, and the information coming from the machine. Today, and this is what you explain, and what we see, make a factory 100% automatic cost a lot of money. And in October, I was in Toyota in France. I didn't see a factory fully automatic. Even it is a recent factory, it was not fully automatic. It is automatic with robot where we need the automation. And today, Industry 5.0, and it is maybe the big difference between 4.0 and 5.0, it is 4.0, the vision was we make automatic, we collect all the data. With 5.0, we are thinking about we make automatic the necessary task to help the operator and to help the team. Or we collect the just necessary information that we need.
That's perfect. Thank you. Satpal, can we move to you? Yeah. So can Industry 5.0 save costs while improving personalization and customer experience? Or what are you planning in this personalization space, if you can talk about that?
To start with, I think cost is is one of the elements, but when you talk about Industry 5.0, it's much beyond that. It starts first from the customer preferences, and which is what we are seeing today, that if you look at our own consumer behaviors, it has changed so much that we are going and buying things from so many platforms. These platforms are driving the source of data, and these data are flowing back into the organization. So when you are looking at this, the era of Industry 4, where we have been talking about platform, the power of configuring the UPS is given to the customer. And there are hundreds of combinations in which they can select and configure their product. Likewise, in healthcare, I think today we are seeing the data science has evolved to a level where continuously the devices are tracking your health parameters. Not just tracking and triggering the indicators to the individuals, but it's also taking action. So for example, in pharmaceutical industry, I was reading a report recently where the sugar levels are being tracked. It's being communicated to the individuals, whether it could be a health and the nutrition practitioners, at the same time the individuals, and the trigger for the insulin goes automatically. So it is just one of the parameters, but imagine in the years to come how so many parameters will evolve, and by tracking such human interfaces where the health indicators can be linked with the actions of the machines. So for sure, I think use cases which you're seeing in the pharmaceutical industry, but then there are going to be like many such examples in, like for example, in garments, we are seeing that more and more customization platforms where you can design your own clothing with so many combinations, and how it flows into the manufacturing is that you create a combination of 10 different variants, it goes into the manufacturing. They are not creating again scale, but they are creating unique solutions for unique customers.
That's great. That's great. Anyone else wants to add on this topic? Open. You all can interject, contradict, add, feel free. Maybe Santosh, maybe we can move to you. Any real world examples of Industry 5.0 you have seen or you're implementing?
Yes, as I said, there is no, at present I feel the clear distinction between 4.0 and 5.0 because we are now in the transformation phase and it's very fast. In our company, what we did in France is that we were starting to use cobots. So cobots, as you know, it's not robots. It's supplementing the human and helping them. So there is a difference between a robot and a cobot. Cobot is very supportive and helping them. For example, earlier, since we belong to the weighing industry, so we need to calibrate the scales. So we need to take the weights and then keep it. In the past revolution, what we did, we made it automatic. So we have a machine which picks up the weight and then keeps it. But now with the cobot, it's even more faster, even more safer, because humans and cobots are working along with each other in the factory. I was amazed. We have not implemented in India yet, but in France it was very fantastic. And the precision with which they do the cutting and then the calibration of the equipment is amazing. So that is something where humans and machines can work together next to next, standing next, and there is absolutely zero harm to the person who is working on it. So cobots are one of the very, very good technologies which I have personally seen and experienced. And here I would put cobot in 5.0 because cobot is helping us save energy, save the wastage of material, and indirectly helping us in achieving our sustainable development goals. So I would put it more in this sense. And there are also some other examples. In fact, in 5.0, when I was going through articles on 5.0, I was seeing some examples on a company called Kernel, which was, they can read your mind and then understand what song you're listening to. So we are now moving from machine to machine interaction to human to machine interactions. And then also a band, like a band in the hand, which will predict your movement. So if I want to move, then it predicts what is there in your mind, and then you can move. And if I want to project something on the screen, then through the, through what I'm having in the mind, I can project it. So it's really amazing, and maybe I feel that this transformation will be much faster than the previous transformations.
So can it,
these are some.
Can it also read my wife's mind and tell what she's thinking?
Yeah, that would be even more interesting. So.
So, Chosat, can you talk a little bit over real-world examples?
Yes, about real example. For me, I think about at the beginning of the 2000s, year 2000, for most of the industry, we were deploying a copy of the Toyota production system that was based on the visual management of how an operator have the information of the performance of his process. When I talk a process, it's a combination of different machines. And at that time, we were asking the operator to write every hour the information of production quality. We still have that in some factories. And 3 years ago, in Michelin, so we did that, in fact, 15 years ago. And 2-3 years ago, we're moving to the digitalization of this visual management with the information that can be completed automatically by the machine. So imagine, we replace, the machine is automatic or semi-automatic. Every hour we're asking the operator to write the performance of the process and to, if there were a difference, to react and to apply certain standard reactions. With the new system that we implemented, the new digital system, the information comes from automatic from the machine. So the operator, he doesn't have to use the time to write the information. What we ask to the operator is to analyze the information, as I said just before, to analyze and to focus on the reaction. When I say that, we have to imagine all the parameters that we are recording. We talk about a cycle time of production. Imagine you have 10 centiminutes of extra cycle time every tires because something on the process has moved. At the end of the day, you lost several tires of production on that machine. It is the same if you have a parameter of temperature of the machine that is also moving, but you don't detect it. You may have a non-conform production. So today, for us, bringing this information visually, automatically, to every machine, to 100% of the operator, up to their mobile phone, because the last evolution that we implemented, it is not only on the screen of the machine, because an operator moves and is not always on them, but we authorize the mobile phone, and we give the access to all this information of the process of the operator on his mobile phone. It is the latest evolution that we implemented past month.
Thank you, thank you. So, Strobel, do you want to add anything more on what you implemented for productivity and efficiency, or any of the topic which we, like real-world examples?
I think what is interesting is that what we could do in the future, seen in other plants that I visited, we are not really advanced at Crayola, but when I say what Florent said about the data collection on real time by the operator, we could expect also AI to help us to analyze this data and give more than giving information to the operator, giving almost instruction to the operator, or rectifying immediately the parameters of the machine without, this could be interesting. We have, I think we have a radiographic test process for our weldings, and I'm sure if we digitize it, AI will help us as it is in the healthcare service. We can expect the AI to help us analyzing the defect in the weldings through the RT. It could, so there are many opportunities that can be given by Industry 5.0.
Perfect. Perfect. I think let's talk about an important topic. I'm coming back to you, Satpal, is ESG, right? The impact. What is required and what Industry 5.0 needs to do, and what's your perspective on your company doing?
So if you look at the evolution of the companies over the past few years, you would see that more and more such digitalization, digital transformation topics have been talked about in many forums. And we are also seeing that organizations are evolving, taking steps in terms of automation. So when you're doing more and more automation, you're doing more and more digitalization, the obvious question is that then does this automation call for next phase? And if that next phase, what is that next phase? So I think more and more companies are being pushed for purpose-driven organization. This is where companies are moving beyond profits. I think Santosh also spoke about profit. This has been the trend in the past, but then now it's not just the companies, but then the shareholders, the investors, the stakeholders, the employees, and next generation, particularly the next generation, the youth. They want to join the companies which are purpose-driven. They want to join the companies and work for the companies who pay equal attention to the sustainability aspect, who are equally committed when it comes to contributing to the communities and societies. So it's coming from there. So when you are going for Industry 5, then obviously the next question which is coming is that while you are purpose-driven, how you would like to see yourself towards sustainability and towards community aspects when you integrate that into your manufacturing capability. So it starts from how you can reduce your CO2 emissions, so use more and more green resources, whether it is solar, wind, or have other means where you are using optimal sources of energy, how you are integrating your sustainability aspects in terms of producing your own sustainable solutions. So for example, in our company, we have energy efficient solutions, and year on year, we have been investing in technologies and R&D to produce more and more energy efficient and sustainable solutions, because we want to cater to that segment where customers are quite driven towards solutions which is energy efficient. How you can integrate sustainability towards packaging, how you are socially aware when it comes to topic of circular economy. So circular economy, can it be integrated with your own manufacturing plans? While you are producing goods, can you minimize the waste through this hybrid intervention of machines and humans? So this is where the cognitive abilities of humans are playing, and this is where humans are taking center stage when it comes to Industry 5. And when you put all the perspectives together where machines are communicating, they are giving some kind of meaningful insights, you need somebody to decode these insights. And these insights to be decoded for the right reasons. And the right reasons towards sustainability, right reasons towards greener future, right reasons towards contributing to the community, minimizing waste, have more and more green solutions. This is what is becoming the priority, given that the resources are getting freed up because of the automation.
Awesome. How are we doing on time? Time? Five minutes. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, one question. I think we have talked about humans being not just at the center as a consumer in the Industry 5.0, but also a player, right? It just cannot be automation. So maybe Santosh, I'll come to you. So what are the key challenges and what needs to happen for Industry 5.0 to be successful?
See, what I would like to say, add on to what Satpal was saying, was that in 2019, the global leaders met, global leaders of the Fortune 500 companies, they met together, and they said that we were in the previous generations focusing on capitalism based on shareholder wealth. So now that has moved towards stakeholder capitalism. They took a oath that all of the companies will work towards stakeholders. As he said, stakeholders also involves environmentalists, the societies around, the communities around. This is a major change, and this was one of the driving factors for a revolution to take place, where we thought machine-machine interaction is not enough. There need to be a human who's controlling the machine can give both positive and negative feedback. Absolutely. So there need to be a human intervention in it to give them to move forward. So this was a major change. So this change was taken at the top level of the organization in 2019. And now I had a very nice opportunity to speak with Indira Nooyi, the CEO of Pepsi, a few weeks back. And she was explaining this could be done only through purposeful leadership. Now the leaders are taking the change, but how do you drive it down to your employees? till the last stage, because everybody should work with the same purpose in mind, that it's not just to create profit, but to create a sustainable future for the world. So that will be the biggest challenge on moving from the top leadership to the ground the line, and moving them and educating them about the not seeing machines as a replacement of their jobs, but seeing machines as a support to things, and still the human should have the power to control, to educate them that you are controlling them, and not the vice versa. That's important.
Thank you. I think last question for all of you. So what is your final predictions for Industry 5.2? When is it going to get mature? What can you expect? Starting with Chosad, and we'll go through.
Okay, so quickly for me, Industry 5.0 will go faster and faster. Let's be clear, the journey started some years ago, and the acceleration for the next coming year, we will have to follow. We will have to follow because we should not forget that industry must be attractive. And we say Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0 are a menace for the employment of the people. That is not correct, because we should not forget today that in the world for the industry, for some métiers, we have difficulties to recruit people. Everywhere, even you see in USA, in Europe, you have unemployment rate at 10%, etc. We have difficulties to recruit. So today, with Industry 5.0, we have also to face these difficulties and to find a solution for these difficulties. And as mentioning Florent, we have to invest for that. And by doing that, we also generate new opportunity of position in our factories that required new skills of the people. And for us, for Michelin, if I just answer to the previous questions, I think the challenge is behind us, because the transformation is already started, and the group started by structure and train the people to this transformation. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe short answers, Santosh.
Yeah, for me, I would see that Industry 5.0 is transforming very fast, not like the previous ones. And maybe very soon, as I said already, people are starting to read the minds. So, but that is one aspect very important, because it's you who's taking the decision, not the machine which was done in the 4.0. So that is something is very drastically happening.
Super, thanks.
So for me, I think humans will be at the center stage, and when you're looking at the human, I think it will add more meaning to their job. All these while we saw that it's all about quantity, and then what you do on daily basis and scale, and to have standardization more and more. But I think in the years to come, you'll see people coming and asking about why we are doing it, how it adds to the society, how it adds to the environment, and their role individually while they will be working with the machines will be much more meaningful than what we are doing it today.
The final word from Strabo.
Yes, for me, Industry 5.0 should support energy transition and sustainability. That was, for me, that is the most important, because we may face some lack of resources, some lack of energy source, and Industry 5.0 is to support the transformation of our industry so that we can have still a sustainable way of life.
Okay, thank you. We're done. I don't know if we have time for at least a couple of questions, or we are done. Okay. One, anyone is interested?
Good morning, panelists. I am Divya, a Nodal Officer to ESG and Industry 4.0 Cell in Tamilnadu Industrial Investment Corporation. So I had a question to Mr. Satpal Singh sir. Like you were saying, Industry 5.0 will mostly concentrate on customized products. Like 3D printing will also be customized. So what my angle of Industry 4.0 was, it will help 3D printing for mass production. So that, again, that ESG aspect can be embedded into it to develop energy efficient products, to reduce wastage, to minimize the time, turnaround time, everything. So how can you explain it, sir?
So to answer you, 3D printing was a model validation concept which was introduced into the company, and later they saw that it is becoming more and more efficient, and then towards the scaling up to cater to a mass market, it was envisaged. But I think if you look at Industry 5, it's a hybrid model. It's not about only mass scale production. It's also integrating customization, high level of customization to cater to a larger market. And when you look at the evolved technologies, as technologies are changing every now and then, I think 3D printing, to me, it's already a cliche. It's an old technology.
So here people are talking about how you can integrate the customization insights right from the customer.
Diplomats, distinguished guests, our esteemed investors, business partners, trade chambers, associations, and my dear friends from the press and media fraternity. It is indeed our pleasure and privilege to inform you that the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamilnadu, Thiru MKStalin Avargal, has arrived at the venue. Tamilnadu Global Investors Meet 2024 in நிறைவு விழாவிற்கு மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களை வருக வருக என மகிழ்ச்சியுடன் வரவேற்கிறோம். Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to please put your hands together as we welcome the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to the Tamil Nadu Global Investors Meet 2024's valedictory ceremony. Welcome, sir. It is our pleasure and privilege to welcome you here.
This exemplary event has witnessed a tremendous turnout of over 20,000 people in the last 2 days. 700 colleges, 2 lakh students, 12,000 faculty members have watched our session live across Tamil Nadu. And now we have come together to celebrate our state's path-breaking achievements and the promising future that lies ahead for the people of Tamil Nadu.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've had 47 thought leadership sessions and insightful interactions with over 175 business and academic leaders. State anthem, Tamil Thai Varthu, presented by Elfe Choir.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிர் சிறந்த திராவிடன திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறைநுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிலமை திரும்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Thank you. I kindly request everybody to be seated. I now request the Honorable Minister for Industries, Dr. T.R.B. Raja Avargal, to please welcome the August gathering.
Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Dravida Nayagan Manmagu Mudhalamaichar Avargale, our esteemed guest, Minister from the UK, Lord Tariq Ahmed, Tirudamo Anbarasan, Honorable Minister for MSMEs, Honorable Ministers of the State from the State of Tamil Nadu, respected Chief Secretary Thiru Shivdas Meena, Secretaries of the MSME and Industries Department, Thiru Anand Mahendra of Mahindra & Mahindra, Tirumadi Mallika Srinivasan of TAFE, Thiru Lee, Mr. Lee of Powchan, Karan Adani of Adani Group, Adani Prods, Thiru Santanam B of Saint Goban, Thiru Pravesh Sinha of Tata Power, Thiru Venkatram Raja of Ramco Group, Thiru Shankar Vanarayar, Chairperson of CII, Tamil Nadu. Ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam. Over the past 2.5 years, Under the visionary leadership of our Chief Minister, Honorable Thiru MKStalin avargal, the state of Tamil Nadu has undergone a tremendous transformation. Our Honorable Chief Minister knew that to achieve his ambitious $1 trillion dream, he has to invigorate the roots of the state's economy. He was clear that creating new jobs for our educated youth and women from all corners of the state is key to this target. Hence, his goal for distributed growth across Tamil Nadu. The Industries Department, then under the leadership of Honorable Thiru Thangam Tennarasu, started to lay the foundation of accelerated industrial growth in all parts of Tamil Nadu. With schemes like Nan Mudalvan and Pudumai Pen, the Honorable Chief Minister ensured that upskilling our young workforce was put forth. In Tamil Nadu, we are looking at advanced sectors like EV, semiconductors, quantum computing, battery cell manufacturing, etc., along with mass job creators like non-leather footwear. To accomplish this, the Honorable Chief Minister has been dispatching the Industries Department to various countries around the world over the last few years, and he himself went to the UAE, Singapore, Japan recently to attract investments. And the result is what you see today, with such big contingents from countries around the world participating in this amazing event. Immediately after this summit, the department is going to Davos in the next few days to showcase the strength of Tamil Nadu. And then the Chief Minister himself will be coming with us to Spain on the 28th of Jan 2024. And plans are also on for visits to countries like Australia and United States in the near future. Finally, aligning with the Chief Minister's vision, these 2 days of TNGIM 2024 have not only been about investment numbers, but also about high-quality jobs distributed across the state. நன்றி வணக்கம்.
I kindly request our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to please felicitate
I kindly request the Honorable Minister of Industries, Dr. T.R.B. Raja Avargal, to felicitate our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. This painting embodies the Chief Minister's vision for distributed growth across Tamil Nadu.
I kindly request the Chief Secretary, the Industries Secretary, and representatives from the Industries Department to please felicitate our other dignitaries on the dais.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu had unveiled the Tamil Nadu footwear and leather policy in August 2022. We have witnessed a surge in non-leather footwear segment ever since, and including an exclusive footwear park in Ranipet district. This sector will employ thousands of rural women. Fengte, a Taiwanese footwear major, will be inaugurating its new manufacturing unit in Tindivanam, Vizhupuram district to produce non-leather footwear with a proposed investment of rupees 500 crores, creating 6,000 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Ricky Lau and Mr. Sunil Taneja from Fengte to join the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for laying the foundation stone.
Thank you. Pouchen Corporation, a leading Taiwanese footwear manufacturer via its Indian subsidiary, High Glory Footwear India Private Limited, is laying its foundation stone for a new manufacturing unit to produce non-leather footwear in Kallakurichi district with a proposed investment of rupees 2,302 crores, creating a massive employment opportunity for 20,000 people. May I please invite Mr. King Su Lee, Vice President from Pouchen, to please join the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for laying the foundation stone. Singapore-based Zongbu will be setting up a non-leather components factory at Perambalur with an investment of 70 crores, generating employment for about 200 people. May I now invite Mr. Rafiq Ahmed to join the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu for laying the foundation stone for this maiden factory in the non-leather footwear component cluster. Ladies and gentlemen, may we also please encourage you to keep the applause going. Thank you. The moment has come to seal the partnership for exchange of key MOUs, this Tamil Nadu Global Investors Meet 2024. TKG Taekwang plans to set up a greenfield unit to manufacture non-leather footwear with a proposed investment of rupees 1,250 crores, creating 9,000 jobs in Tamil Nadu. May I now invite the Secretary Industries and Mr. Sanjay Wu from TKG Taekwang to please exchange the MOU.
The dignitaries on the dais can have their seats, please. Thank you. Hongfu Industrial Group from Taiwan proposes to build a greenfield unit to manufacture non-leather footwear in Ranipet, with a proposed investment of rupees 1,500 crores, creating jobs for 22,000 people in Ranipet district. May I now invite Secretary Industries and Mr. S. Balasubramanian from Hongfu to exchange the MOU.
Thank you. Longyan Investments plans to establish a greenfield unit in Tamil Nadu to manufacture non-leather footwear with a proposed investment of rupees 500 crores, creating 10,000 jobs for people in Ranipet district. I now invite Mr. Bartley from Longyan to exchange the MOU.
Thank you. We are proud to announce that Tata Power is expanding their footprint in the southern district of Tamil Nadu with their existing solar PV plant in Tirunelveli district with a total investment of 70,800 crores, creating 3,800 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Deepesh Nanda from Tata Power to exchange the MOU.
It's time for more announcements about our strategic industrial partnerships. Leap Green Energy Private Limited proposes to establish an integrated green hydrogen power storage plant in Thoothukudi district with an investment of 22,842 crores, creating 3,925 jobs. May I invite Mr. Devanand and Mr. Rajiv Karthikeyan to exchange the MOU.
Semcorp is establishing a green hydrogen plant in Thoothukudi district with a proposed investment of rupees 36,238 crores and generating employment for over 1,500 people. May I now invite Secretary Industries and Mr. Ramesh Raman from Semcorp for exchanging the MOU.
ZF Wind Turbines plans to expand their existing renewable energy manufacturing components facility in Coimbatore district with a proposed investment of rupees 750 crores, creating 225 jobs. I invite Mr. Deepak Pohekar from ZF Wind Turbines to exchange the MOU.
Shell India Markets proposes to invest in renewable energy projects and global capacity center with an investment of rupees 1,070 crores, creating 50,000 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Gopendra Bahadur, CFO from Shell India Markets, to exchange the MOU.
Chennai Petrochemicals proposes an additional investment in their petrochemical refinery and decarbonization units in Nagapattinam district with an investment of rupees 17,000 crores, creating 2,400 jobs. I invite Mr. Arvind Kumar, Managing Director, to please exchange the MOU.
Emerging as a promising destination for global capability centers of large corporations, we are proud to announce the partnership with UPS Logistics, Hitachi Energy and Boeing India. Hitachi Energy plans to expand its global R&D center at Chennai with a proposed investment of 100 crores, creating 1,500 high-end jobs. May I now invite Mr. Shankar to 554 people. May I now invite Mr. Nikhil Rao from Boeing India to exchange the MOU.
Mahindra Origins and Mahindra
housing 8 state-of-the-art technology towers with an investment of rupees 3,500 crores, employing over 40,000 people. May I now invite Mr. Shrikant Joshi from L&T to exchange the MOU.
Kaveri Hospitals proposes to expand their healthcare facilities in Tamilnadu with an investment of 1,200 crores, creating Royal Enfield plans to invest rupees 3,000 crores and generate 2,000 jobs in multiple locations across Tamil Nadu for motorcycle manufacturing and other related activities. I now invite Mr. Govindarajan, CEO from Royal Enfield, to please exchange the MOU.
Stellantis Group plans to invest rupees 2,000 crores in ICE and EV car manufacturing in Tiruvallur district. May I now invite Mr. Aditya Jairaj, MD from Stellantis Group, to exchange the MOU.
Anand Group proposes expansion projects for the manufacturing of automotive and EV components in Kanjipuram, Chengalpette and Krishnagiri district. The company plans to invest rupees 987 crores, creating 1,340 jobs. I invite Ms. Anjali Singh, Chairperson Anand Group, to please exchange the MOU.
TAFE has plans to expand its range of tractors in compact and utility segments with an investment of rupees 500 crores, creating 1,000 jobs across Tamil Nadu. May I invite Dr. Chandra Mohan, Director from TAFE, to exchange the MOU.
Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, we're going to request you to please keep the applause going. Thank you once again for your support. Hinduja Group will be expanding its business in the next few years across multiple locations with a proposed investment of rupees 1,200 crores, creating 500 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Shenu Agarwal from Hinduja Group to please exchange the MOU.
SIFI Technologies proposes to build a data center with an investment of rupees 2,500 crores and creating over 300 high-end jobs. May I now invite Mr. Ganesh Shankar Raman, Senior Vice President from SIFI, to exchange the MOU.
Microsoft plans to set up a state-of-the-art data center in Chennai district with an investment of 2,740 crores, creating 167 jobs. I now invite Mr. Natarajan Ramkumaran, Director, to please exchange the MOU.
Tata Chemicals plans to build a chemical complex in Ramanathapuram district with a proposed investment of rupees 1,000 crores, creating employment for 500 people. May I now invite Mr. Nandakumar Sheshadri Tirumalai, CFO, to kindly exchange the MOU.
Kaplan Group of Companies proposes to establish pharmaceutical manufacturing units and an R&D facility across multiple locations with a proposed investment of rupees 700 crores, creating 1,500 jobs. May I now invite Mr. C.C. Parthiban, founder and chairman, to please exchange the MOU.
Jindal Defence plans to establish a 3,500 metric ton facility in Tiruchirappalli to manufacture carbon fiber, carbon prepeg, hydrogen cylinder and rebar for the aerospace industry with an investment of rupees 1,000 crores, creating 800 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Chandra Prakash Agarwal, head of Aerospace and Defence, for exchanging the MOU.
Ramco Cement plans to modernize their existing manufacturing facilities and install new plants in Virudhunagar and Salem districts with a proposed investment of 999 crores, creating 150 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Srinivasan, Executive Director, to please exchange the MOU.
Saint Gobain India proposes to establish greenfield units for manufacturing float glass, gypsum and insulation products in Kanjipuram district and undergo expansion in its existing units in Kanjipuram, Tirupallur and Erode districts with a proposed investment of 3,400 crores, creating 1,140 jobs. May I now invite Mr. A.R. Unikrishnan, MD from Saint Gobain, to exchange the MOU.
Ramkrishna Titagar Rail Wheels proposes to establish a new facility in Tiruvallur district for manufacturing forged train wheels with a potential investment of rupees 1,850 crores, creating over 1,400 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Pratish Chaudhary, Director, to please exchange the MOUs.
Festo India plans to establish a greenfield manufacturing facility to manufacture pneumatic components in Krishnagiri district with a proposed investment of rupees 520 crores, creating 2,000 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Rashmikant Joshi, MD from Festo India, to exchange the MOU.
Fanuc India plans to install a robotics experience center in Kanchipuram district with a proposed investment of rupees 55 crores, creating 75 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Yuki Kita, President of Fanuc India, to please exchange the MOU.
ENES Textile Mills, the manufacturing arm of Ramraj Cotton, plans to install spinning, weaving, processing and creating garments across 13 districts with a proposed investment of rupees 1,000 crores, creating 13,000 jobs across Tamil Nadu. May I now invite Mr. K.R. Nagarajan, founder and chairman of ENES Ramraj, to kindly exchange the MOU.
Shahi Exports plans to install multiple apparel units across the state of Tamil Nadu with a proposed investment of rupees 1,000 crores, creating 22,000 jobs. May I now invite Mr. Anand Padmanabhan, President, to please exchange the MOU.
The Adani Group plans to invest rupees 42,768 crores, employing 10,300 people in the state for data center, renewable energy and storage projects, city gas distribution and cement manufacturing. May I please invite Mr. Karan Adani from Adani Post to please exchange the MOU.
Thank you, sir. To attract strategic investments in key infrastructure projects, imbibing the best practices from both private and government sectors, Tamil Nadu has now designed a new policy for public-private partnership. May I please invite the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to please release the public-private partnership policy and present the first copy to Lord Tariq Ahmed, Minister of State, United Kingdom.
Thank you, dignitaries. It is now time to call upon our special guest for this occasion, Lord Tariq Ahmed, Minister of State, United Kingdom, to deliver his address.
My dear Chief Minister, Ministers, distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, Vanakkam. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure and a huge honor for me to represent my country, the United Kingdom, on this magnificent global summit. And to you, Chief Minister, and to you, Minister, our heartiest congratulations. It's wonderful, truly wonderful, to be amongst so many friends of the United Kingdom and many friends from the United Kingdom, and indeed from across different sectors, from the worlds of finance, industry, manufacturing, education, research, culture, and so much more. And if I may, Chief Minister, start by acknowledging the resilience of the people of Tamil Nadu. Your swift recovery after the tragedy of Cyclone Muchang and the floods across the state shows the real sense of solidarity, and it is commendable in terms of how the communities of this great state responded. It's been an immense pleasure. I arrived early this morning from London, but to meet so many people from so many businesses, and the warmth of the welcome was very much at its core warmly received by myself and my team here in Chennai. We've had a packed and exciting schedule with the opportunity to showcase the United Kingdom's business opportunities in this dynamic state. Many British businesses are already benefiting from the relationships in Tamil Nadu, either through investments into the UK, be it in collaboration and partnerships on research or investments into Tamil Nadu. And of course, we've also welcomed bring exports to the United Kingdom. Chief Minister, our countries may be thousands of miles apart, but we do have a close and enduring partnership, indeed a friendship. The United Kingdom exports many things to this great state. And as Anand Mahindraji reminded me, I also brought the best of British weather, so my apologies for the rain that accompanied me from London today. But we are equally great pillars of democracy. The strength of any community, any state, indeed any nation, comes from its people. We are major economies. Our countries and communities are committed to open liberal markets, free trade, and the international order. And together we are dedicated to tackling global challenges, from security to climate change, that no one nation can defeat alone. Now, on the topic of defeat, I was about to mention that our countries are also bound together by our extraordinary love of cricket. But perhaps as a British minister, after England's recent performance in the World Cup, right here in India, perhaps the less said about that, the better. However, again, it shows the incredible cultural people-to-people ties between this great state, this great country, and our United Kingdom. Instead, I also want to focus on happier topics, like our partnership between the UK and Tamil Nadu, which is truly growing from strength to strength. Chief Minister, I started doing those things which you should never do, trying to do your maths, counting the MOUs and indeed the figures and the jobs created. But congratulations to Tamil Nadu. And what an achievement and display that was in the confidence of the economy and the state that is Tamil Nadu. Just in the past year, just to again demonstrate our love for this state, not one, not two, not three, indeed 4 UK government ministers, and I include myself in that, have come to Chennai to launch several important initiatives on the areas we collaborate on, from climate to technology, from sustainability and education. and our joint roadmap with India aims to double trade between our two countries by 2030. Turning to India, India is already the second largest investor in the UK. 954 Indian companies are now operating in the UK, employing well over 100,000 people. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom also offers a unique mix of world-class expertise and talent. For example, ranking first in Europe for new investment projects and first in the G7 for international research collaboration and impact. Both nations, India and the United Kingdom, are committed and absolutely committed on building upon this, boosting our shared growth through our trading relationship. And today again demonstrates our commitment to you, Chief Minister, and to your state from the United Kingdom about the strength, respect and regard we have for the people, the community and the state of Tamil Nadu, and indeed India as a country. So therefore, as we look towards new horizons, as we look towards the future, as we celebrate the success of our young generations full of innovation and technology, may I congratulate you once again on a very successful, inspiring and informative event. And I look forward to many, many more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. TAN Fund, an initiative of the Government of Tamil Nadu, is aimed at fueling the growth trajectory of startups and bridging the gap between startups in Tamil Nadu and investment partners, both in India and across the globe. May I now please invite the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to please launch the TAN Fund platform. TAN Fund, a one-stop platform that unifies diverse investment opportunities, is set to elevate the startup investment landscape in Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu government has been spearheading multiple revolutionary initiatives to make Tamil Nadu a global leader in the startup ecosystem. For investors, TAN Fund offers curated startup pipeline, streamlined processes, co-investment opportunities. For startup founders, TAN Fund provides direct access to investors, tailored funding, increased visibility. The TAN Fund platform leverages cutting-edge technology and a dedicated back-office team to coordinate investment process efficiently. 200 plus funding agencies are already on board with TAN Fund, ready to support startups in Tamil Nadu. Join hands with the Tamil Nadu government to drive innovation and elevate its startup ecosystem.
Thank you. With a huge, huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, now I welcome our Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu to please deliver the valedictory address as we eagerly await to listen to his words of inspiration.
இப்பொழுது மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களை சிறப்புரையாற்ற பணிவன்புடன் கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம். Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your headsets to channel 6 for translation of the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu's speech.
உலக முதலீட்டாளர் மாநாடு 2024 நிறைவு விழாவில் பங்கேற்று சிறப்பித்துள்ள இங்கிலாந்து நாட்டினுடைய இணையமைச்சர் லார்ட் தாரிக் அகமது அவர்களே, மாண்புமிகு MSME துறையினுடைய அமைச்சர் திரு அன்பரசன் அவர்களே, மாண்புமிகு தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் முனைவர் TRB ராஜா அவர்களே, வருகை தந்திருக்கக்கூடிய மாண்புமிகு அமைச்சர் பெருமக்களே, சட்டமன்ற நாடாளுமன்ற உறுப்பினர்களே, உயர்திரு தலைமைச் செயலாளர் அவர்களே, தொழில்துறை செயலாளர் அவர்களே, MSME துறையினுடைய செயலாளர் உள்ளிட்ட பல்வேறு அரசு துறை செயலாளர்களே, தலைசிறந்த தொழில் முனைவோர்களான சேர்பர்சன் மகேந்திரா குரூப், சேர்பர்சன் MD, Adani Ports, CEO Saint Gobain, MD Tata Power, BP Pausen, MD Ramco, CIA State President உள்ளிட்ட அயல்நாட்டு தூதரக அதிகாரிகளே, பல்வேறு முன்னணி தொழில் நிறுவனங்களின் நிர்வாகிகளே, தொழில்துறையை சார்ந்த வல்லுநர்களே, பத்திரிகை மற்றும் ஊடகத்துறையை சார்ந்திருக்கக்கூடிய நண்பர்களே, உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய அன்பான மாலை வணக்கத்தை நான் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்ள விரும்புகிறேன். திராவிட மாடல் அரசின் இந்த உலக முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாடு மூலமா தமிழ்நாட்டோட 20 ஆண்டு கால வளர்ச்சிக்கு அடித்தளம் அமைச்சிருக்க உங்க எல்லோருக்கும் தமிழ்நாட்டோட முதலமைச்சரோட பொறுப்பில் இருக்கிற காரணத்தால் என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை நான் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்ள விரும்புகிறேன். இந்த மாநாட்டை உலகமே வியக்கும் வகையில் நடத்தி இந்தியாவே வியக்கும் வகையில் முதலீட்டை ஈர்த்து என் இதயத்தில் நீங்கா இடத்தை பெற்றுவிட்டார் தம்பி TRB ராஜா அவர்கள். தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் பொறுப்பை ஏற்றுக்கொண்ட குறுகிய காலத்திலேயே இமாலய சாதனை செய்திருக்கும் அமைச்சர் TRB ராஜாவை நான் பாராட்டுகிறேன். இவ்விழாவில் கண்ணும் கருத்துமாய் இருந்த தலைமைச் செயலாளர் உள்ளிட்ட அனைத்து அரசு அலுவலர்களுக்கும் எனது பாராட்டையும் நன்றியும் தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். நாங்கள் ஆட்சி பொறுப்புக்கு வந்த பிறகு முதலீட்டாளர்களின் முதல் முகவரி தமிழ்நாடு என்ற பெயரில் நடத்தப்பட்ட முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாடுகள் மூலமா 1,90,803 கோடி ரூபாய்க்கான முதலீடுகள் ஈர்க்கப்பட்டு 2,80,600 பேருக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்புகள் ஏற்பட்டுச்சு. நான் ஐக்கிய அரபு நாடுகள், சிங்கப்பூர் மற்றும் ஜப்பான் ஆகிய நாடுகளுக்கு பயணம் மேற்கொண்டு 17,371 பேருக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்பு ஏற்படுத்துகிற வகையில் 7,441 கோடி ரூபாய் மதிப்பிலான முதலீடுகளை பெற்றோம். அதோடு நான் தொடர்ந்து இந்த முதலீடுகள் செயல் வடிவம் பெறுவதை கண்காணிப்பேன். அந்த வகையில் ஆட்சிக்கு வந்ததிலிருந்து இதுவரைக்கும் 44 தொழிற்சாலைகளுக்கு அடிக்கல் நாட்டியிருக்கேன். 27 தொழிற்சாலைகளை திறந்து வச்சிருக்கிறேன். இது மூலமா 74,757 இளைஞர்கள் மற்றும் மகளிருக்கு வேலை வாய்ப்பு ஏற்படுத்தப்பட்டுள்ளது. அந்த நம்பிக்கையோடு சொல்றேன், இந்த மாநாடு தமிழ்நாட்டின் தொழில் வளர்ச்சியில் பெரும் பாய்ச்சலாக அமையும். தமிழ்நாட்டோட வரலாற்றில் நிச்சயம் இது நினைவு கூறப்படும். இந்த மாநாட்டோட தனித்துவமும் புதுமைத்துவமும் என்றென்றும் பேசப்படும். நான் அதிகாரிகளுக்கு ஆரம்பத்திலேயே ஒரு அன்பு கட்டளை போட்டேன். உலக அளவிலேயே முதலீட்டுக்கான சிறந்த மாநிலமா தமிழ்நாடு முன்னேற்றணும். இந்த உலக முதலீட்டாளர் மாநாட்டை நடத்துறதுக்கான முக்கிய காரணமா அதுதான் இருக்கணும் என்று சொன்னேன். எங்களோட அயராத உழைப்பு மற்றும் உங்களுடைய பங்களிப்பு காரணமா இந்த உலக முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாட்டின் போது இறுதி செய்யப்பட்ட மொத்த முதலீடுகள் முன் எப்போதும் இல்லாத அளவா 6,64,180 கோடி ரூபாய் என்பதை இந்தியாவே உற்று நோக்கும் இந்த அவையில் பெரும் மகிழ்ச்சியோடு அறிவிக்கிறோம். இந்த திட்டங்கள் மூலம் நேரடி வேலைவாய்ப்பென்ற வகையில் 14,54,712 நபர்களுக்கும் மறைமுக வேலைவாய்ப்பு என்ற வகையில் 12,35,945 நபர்களுக்கும் என மொத்தம் 26,90,657 வேலை வாய்ப்புகள் உருவாக்கப்படும். மேம்பட்ட மின்னணுவியல் உற்பத்தி, பசுமை எரிசக்தி, தோல் அல்லாத காலணிகள், வாகனங்கள் மற்றும் மின் வாகனங்கள், வான்வெளி மற்றும் பாதுகாப்பு, தரவு மையங்கள், திறன்மிகு மையங்கள், தகவல் தொழில்நுட்ப சேவைகள் போன்ற பலதரப்பட்ட துறைகள் மூலமா இந்த முதலீடுகள் வந்திருக்கு. ஈர்க்கப்பட்டுள்ள மொத்த முதலீடுகள்ல உற்பத்தி துறையில, அதாவது தொழில் முதலீட்டு ஊக்குவிப்பு மற்றும் வர்த்தகத்துறை சார்பா 3,79,809 கோடி ரூபாய் முதலீடுகள், எரிசக்தி சார்பா 1,35,157 கோடி ரூபாய் முதலீடுகள், வீட்டு வசதி மற்றும் நகர்ப்புற வளர்ச்சித்துறை சார்பா 62,939 கோடி ரூபாய் முதலீடுகள், தகவல் தொழில்நுட்பத்துறை மற்றும் டிஜிட்டல் சேவைகள் துறை சார்பா 22,130 கோடி ரூபாய் முதலீடுகள், தொழிற்சாலைகளுக்கு வலுவான விற்பனையாளர்களை தளத்தை வழங்கும் குறு சிறு மற்றும் நடுத்தர தொழில் நிறுவனங்கள் துறை சார்பா 63,573 கோடி ரூபாய் முதலீடுகள் ஏற்கப்பட்டிருக்கு. சீரான பரவலான வளர்ச்சியை உறுதிப்படுத்துற விதமா இந்த முதலீடுகள் எல்லாம் மாநிலம் முழுவதும் பரவலா மேற்கொள்ளப்பட இருக்கு. 2030 ஆண்டுக்குள்ள தமிழ்நாட்டை $1 டிரில்லியன் அமெரிக்க டாலர் பொருளாதார வளர்ச்சி பெற்ற மாநிலமாகவும் இந்திய பொருளாதாரத்துக்கு மிக முக்கிய பங்களிக்கிற மாநிலமாகவும் சிறந்திட பெரும் லட்சிய இலக்க நிர்ணயிச்சு நாங்க செயல்பட்டுக்கிட்டு வரோம். இந்த இலக்க விரைவில் அடையறதுக்கு இந்த புரிந்துணர்வு ஒப்பந்தங்கள் பெரும் துணை நிற்கும் என்பதில் சந்தேகம் இல்லை. தொலைநோக்கு பார்வையோட தொழில் கொள்கைகளை வடிவமைச்சு அது மூலம் தொழில் மற்றும் பொருளாதார மேம்பாட்டை முன்னெடுத்து செல்றதுதான் ஒரு மாநிலத்துடைய வளர்ச்சிக்கு உகந்த பாதை. 20க்கும் மேற்பட்ட கொள்கைகளை வெளியிட்டு அந்த துறைகள்ல உற்பத்தி மட்டும் இல்லாம ஏற்றுமதியும் வெகுவா பெருக்கிடும் வகையில் முதலீடுகளை கணிசமாக ஈர்த்து அதன் மூலம் வேலைவாய்ப்புகளை வெகுவாக அதிகரித்து வரும். இதன் தொடர் நடவடிக்கையாதான் தொடக்க விழா நாள்ல மின்னணு உற்பத்தி மற்றும் செமிகண்டக்டர் கொள்கையை வெளியிட்டேன். இது இந்த துறைகள்ல முதலீடுகளை ஈர்த்து வளர்ச்சியை மேலும் துரிதப்படுத்தும். மிக பெரும் உட்கட்டமைப்பு திட்டங்கள் மேற்கொள்ளப்படும் போது அதுக்கான முதலீடுகள் முழுவதையும் அரசே மேற்கொள்வது கடினம். கூட்டு முயற்சியில் தனியார் துறைகளோடு இணைந்து செயல்படுவதுதான் நடைமுறையில் சாத்தியம். அந்த வகையில் அப்படிப்பட்ட முதலீடுகளை ஈர்க்க தனியார் மற்றும் அரசு துறைகளோட சிறந்த நடைமுறைகளை இணைச்சு பொது தனியார் கூட்டாண்மை கொள்கையிலையும் பப்ளிக் பிரைவேட் பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் பாலிசி வெளியிட்டிருக்கிறேன். தமிழ்நாடு அரசின் புத்தொழில் மற்றும் புத்தாக்க ஊக்குவிப்பு நிறுவனமான ஸ்டார்ட் அப் தமிழ்நாடு உருவாக்கியுள்ள டான்ஃபண்ட் மூலம் பன்னாட்டு துணிகர முதலீட்டு நிறுவனங்களை வெஞ்சர் ஃபண்ட்ஸ் தமிழ்நாட்டின் புத்தொழில் நிறுவனங்களோட இணைக்கிறதுமான தளம் இன்னைக்கு தொடங்கி வைக்கப்பட்டிருக்கு. நமது ஸ்டார்ட் அப் தமிழ்நாடு உலகளாவிய புத்தாக்க சூழல்கள் ஆராயும் தரவு மற்றும் ஆலோசனை நிறுவனமான ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஜூனோம் ஆகியவற்றுக்கிடையே ஒத்துழைப்புக்கான ஒப்பந்தம் மேற்கொள்ளப்பட்டிருக்கு. புத்தொழில் முதலீட்டாளர்கள் மாநாட்டில் சுமார் 200க்கும் மேற்பட்ட புத்தொழில் துணிகர முதலீட்டாளர்கள் துறை சார்ந்த நிபுணர்களுடன் புத்தொழில் நிறுவனங்களுடன் கலந்துரையாடினாங்க. வாங்குவோர் விற்பனையாளர் சந்திப்பில் 20க்கும் மேற்பட்ட நாடுகளை சார்ந்த ஏற்றுமதியாளர்கள் 500க்கும் மேற்பட்ட உள்நாட்டு விற்பனையாளர்களுடன் கலந்துரையாடல்கள் மேற்கொண்டனர். இது மூலமா ஏற்கனவே ஏற்றுமதியில முன்னணி மாநிலமா விளங்குகிற தமிழ்நாடு தன்னோட போட்டித்திறனை நன்கு அதிகரிக்க முடியும். வான்வெளி மற்றும் பாதுகாப்புத்துறை நிறுவனங்களுக்காக விற்பனையாளர் வாங்குவோர் சந்திப்புக்கும் ஏற்பாடு செஞ்சிருக்கோம். வளர்ந்து வரும் இந்த துறையை செம்மைப்படுத்தி இந்த துறையை மேலும் வளர்க்க இப்படியான மிக சரியான உத்வேகத்தை எங்களுக்கு கொடுத்திருக்கு. இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியோட மற்றொரு சிறப்பம்சமா 9 பங்காளர் நாடுகள் பன்னாட்டு அரங்கு அமைச்சு இந்த மாநிலத்தோட தங்களின் ஆழமான மற்றும் நீண்டகால ஈடுபாட்டை வெளிப்படுத்தினாங்க. சிறப்பு அரங்குகள் மூலம் தமிழ்நாட்டின் தொழில் வலிமை மற்றும் பன்முகத்தன்மையை பல்வேறு அரசு நிறுவனங்கள் வெளிப்படுத்தி இருக்கு. இந்த மாபெரும் நிகழ்வின் போது நடைபெற்ற வேறு சில முக்கிய நிகழ்வுகளையும் இங்கே குறிப்பிட விரும்புகிறேன். திட்டங்களுக்கான தொடக்க விழாக்கள் மற்றும் அடிக்கல் நாட்டு விழா, துறை மற்றும் நாடுகளுக்கான அரங்குகள், புத்தொழிலுக்கான களங்கள், பல்வேறு தலைப்பிலான கலந்துரையாடல்கள், அனுபவங்கள் பகிரும் சந்திப்புகள், கண்கவர் கலை நிகழ்ச்சிகள் ஆகியவை நடந்திருக்கு. இவையெல்லாம் எனக்கு மிகுந்த மகிழ்ச்சியை அளிச்சிருக்கு. இவையெல்லாம் ஆக்கப்பூர்வமாக நடந்திருக்கு. மாநிலத்தில் உள்ள கல்லூரிகள் மூலமும் நான் முதல்வன் திட்டம் மூலமும் மாணவர்கள் அதிக அளவில் இந்த மாநாட்டில் பங்கேற்று பயனடைய வாய்ப்பளிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கு. நாளைய உலகத்துக்கு இன்றே வழிகாட்டுகிற வகையில் அவங்க இந்த பெரும் முதலீட்டாளர்களின் ஆழமான அனுபவங்களை கேட்டறிந்து தமக்கான பாதையை வகுத்து அவர்களுக்கு இது பெரிதும் உதவும். சுமார் 20,000 பிரதிநிதிகள் மற்றும் 39 லட்சம் மாணவர்கள் இதிலெல்லாம் கலந்து கொண்டு பயனடைஞ்சிருக்கிறாங்க. Our partner countries have contributed to make the global investors meet a grand success. I also thank the diplomatic community for their cooperation. முக்கியமா நான் உங்களுக்கு தெரிவிக்க விரும்புவது எங்கள் அரசு மீதும் எங்கள் கொள்கைகளின் மீதும் வச்சிருக்கக்கூடிய உங்க நம்பிக்கையை காப்பாற்றுறது எங்களுடைய தலையாய கடமை. எங்களுடைய அரசை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நீங்க புரிந்துணர்வு ஒப்பந்தம் கையெழுத்து போடுறதுல இருந்து உங்களுடைய எல்லா செயல்களுக்கும், அதாவது நீங்க உங்கள் தொழிற்சாலையை முழுமையாக கட்டி முடிச்சு உற்பத்தியை தொடங்குறதுல அதுக்கு பிறகும் கூட உங்களுக்கு நாங்க உறுதுணையாக இருப்போம். உங்களுக்கு தேவையான எல்லா கிளியரன்ஸும் சிங்கிள் விண்டோ சிஸ்டம் மூலமா விரைந்து வழங்கப்படும் என்று நான் உறுதி கூற விரும்புகிறேன். அதே போல இந்த புரிந்துணர்வு ஒப்பந்தங்களை நடைமுறைப்படுத்த தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் தலைமையில் ஒரு சிறப்பு குழு அமைக்கப்படும். அதுல தொழில்துறை அலுவலர்கள், கைடன்ஸ் அலுவலர்கள் ஆகியோர் பங்கேற்பாங்க. ஒவ்வொரு புரிந்துணர்வு ஒப்பந்தத்தையும் தொடர்ந்து கண்காணித்து அதை முழுமையான தொழிற்சாலையாக மாற்றுவதற்கு அவங்க எல்லா முயற்சிகளையும் எடுப்பாங்க. உங்களுக்கு எந்த தருணத்திலும் என்கிட்ட ஏதாவது தகவல் தெரிவிக்கணும்னா என்னோட அலுவலகத்தை நீங்கள் எப்போ வேண்டுமானாலும் தொடர்பு கொள்ளலாம். இந்த உறுதியை நான் தொழில்துறை அமைச்சர் மற்ற அரசு அலுவலர்கள் முன்னிலையிலே வழங்குகிறேன். அதனால் நீங்கள் நம்பிக்கையுடன் இருக்கலாம். நிறைவாக இந்த மாநாட்டில் முதலீடுகளை மேற்கொண்டுள்ள எல்லோருக்கும் மீண்டும் மீண்டும் என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவிக்கிறேன். இதுவரை இங்கே முதலீடு செய்யாதவர்களும் எங்கள் மாநிலத்தில் முதலீடு செய்ய முன்வாருங்கள் என அன்போடு அழைக்கிறேன். உங்கள் எல்லோரையும் நான் தொழில் முனைவராக மட்டும் இல்லை, தமிழ்நாட்டின் நல்லெண்ண தூதுவர்களாக பார்க்கிறேன். எனவே தமிழ்நாட்டை உலகுக்கு அறிமுகம் செய்யுங்கள். உலக நாடுகளை தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு அழைத்து வாருங்கள். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கு நெஞ்சார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். தேங்க்யூ சார்.
We now come to the grand finale of this great event. It is time for the grand announcements of all the MOUs signed by the Government of Tamil Nadu under various departments. May I now request Honorable Minister for MSME, Government of Tamil Nadu, Thiru Thamo Anbarasan Avargal, to hand over the list of MOU commitments from MSME sector to the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. MSME department has in total attracted investments worth rupees 63,573 crores, creating over 2,51,660 jobs.
May I now request investors from the energy sector to please join the dignitaries on the stage for a group picture. The energy department has in total attracted investments worth rupees 1,35,157 crores, creating 14,609 jobs. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Next, may I now request the Honorable Minister for Housing and Urban Development, Thiru S. Muthusamy Avargal, and Honorable Minister for Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority, Thiru P.K. Shekhar Babu Avargal, and investors from the housing and urban development sector to join the dignitaries on stage for a group picture. Housing and Urban Development Department has in total attracted investments worth rupees 62,939 crores, creating 2,65,053 jobs.
Thank you all. Next, may I please request the Honorable Minister for Handloom and Textiles, Thiru R. Gandhi Avargal, and the investors from the handlooms and textile sector to please join the dignitaries on stage for a group picture. The Handloom and Textiles Department is in total attracted investments worth rupees 572 crores, creating 9,181 jobs.
Thank you so much. Next, may I now request the Honorable Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, Dr. Parinivel Thiagarajan Avargal, and investors from the IT sector to join the dignitaries on stage for a group picture. The IT department has in total attracted investments worth rupees 22,130 crores, creating jobs for over 1,07,180 people.
Thank you. May I now please invite the Honorable Minister for Industries, Dr. T.R.B. Raja Avargal, and the investors from the industries sector to please join the dignitaries on stage for a group picture. The Industries Department has in total attracted investments worth 3,79,809 crores, creating over 8,07,026 jobs. May I please invite Group 5 to please join us on stage for the first photograph. Thank you. May I please invite Group 4 to join us on stage for a photograph? Thank you. May I please invite Group 3 to join us on stage? Thank you. May I please welcome Group 2 to join us on stage? Thank you. May I please welcome Group 1 to join us on stage?
Thank you so much. I kindly request everybody in the audience to please be seated. We're a few minutes away from the end of the program, so I kindly request everybody to please be seated.
Thank you once again to all of our esteemed investors. Thank you.
May I now request Secretary Industries Thiru Arun Roy IAS to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். As we have reached the concluding point of the two-day Global Investors Meet, I stand before you with a great sense of gratitude towards hundreds of people who work hard to organize this event. The Global Investors Meet 2024 was the brainchild of our Honorable Chief Minister, who felt that the state needs a mission more deferred to accelerate our growth towards a 1 trillion economy by 2030. Organizing this event, particularly attracting investments, took over a year of concerted effort. Throughout this journey, the Honorable Chief Minister guided us at every stage, and I sincerely thank him for providing us the leadership and confidence that made our mission a success. Honorable Minister for Industries, Dr. T.R.B. Raja, was our team leader, who was totally hands-on regarding every aspect of this event. He was also at the very forefront of engaging with investors and instilling confidence in them to invest in our state. Thank you, sir. I thank the Honorable Minister for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises for rallying the entire MSME sector to support GIM 2024 and for conducting outreach events with the business community in all districts. I also thank the entire Council of Ministers for their unequivocal support of the various investment proposals brought before the Cabinet and for mobilizing investments in their respective sectors. I thank the Honorable MPs, MLAs and other people's representatives who have graced this occasion. We are honoured by the presence of Lord Tariq Ahmed, Honourable Minister of State, Government of UK. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks to our special guests on the dais, Mr. Anand Mahindra, Chairperson Mahindra Group, Ms. Mallika Srinivasan, Chairperson TAFE, Mr. B. Santanam, MD and CEO, Saint Gobain, Mr. Karan Adani, CEO, Adani Ports, Mr. Venkatrama Raja, MD, Ramco, Mr. Shankar Vanavaraya, Tamilnadu Head, CII, Mr. Lee, Vice President, Pauchen, and Mr. Parviz Sinha, MD, Tata Power, who have all taken time out of their busy schedules to be here to back the Tamilnadu growth story. The Chief Secretary to Government has been a pillar of support in organizing this event. I like to thank the Chief Secretary through Shivdas Meena and also the Development Commissioner through N. Muruganandam for steering this event. I thank the diplomatic community for their enthusiastic and generous support and for participating in various associated events like exhibition, roadshows, and country sessions. A special word of gratitude is due for our partner countries, UK, Japan, Australia, France, Germany, Denmark, Singapore, USA, and South Korea, and also the international partners, Taipei Economic and Cultural Center and Western Australia. In the past few weeks, we have received the support of many senior officers of the state government who took care of various micro aspects of this event. Every department of the government at the state and the district level was involved with GIM in one way or the other. I thank all government officers of all departments who strived hard for this GIM 2024. I owe special thanks to my colleagues in the Industries Department, including those from Guidance, TIDCO, TNTPO, and SIPCOT. The Confederation of Indian Industry has been our exclusive industry association partner, and as always, they have taken great care to meticulously organize many aspects of GIM 2024. I like to thank the entire CII team. I also record my gratitude to all the exhibitors, speakers of thought leadership sessions, and participants of various sub-events in the last 2 days. Above all, this is an event for investors. I thank all our investors who have reposed their faith in Tamil Nadu and in helping us attract 6.64 lakh crore of investment. The investors' response and cooperation for this event has been truly overwhelming. We look forward to working closely with you in the coming days to make your plans successful. I thank all our invitees, participants, industry associations, students, friends from electronic and print media, and various event partners who work very closely with us. Thank you. Nandri, Vanakkam.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please request you all to be upstanding for the national anthem to be presented by Tejul from KM Music Conservatory.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to request you all to please remain seated as the Honorable Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu and the dignitaries on the dais proceed. We're requesting you all to kindly remain seated. We'd like to express our sincere gratitude to all of you for having joined us here for the Tamil Nadu Global Investors Meet 2024's valedictory function. Thank you once again.
This was a true privilege and honor for us, and I'm sure you all have enjoyed yourselves as much as we did. Thank you very, very much once again for honoring us with your presence. And
மாண்புமிகு தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் அவர்களுக்கு நன்றியை தெரிவித்து விடைபெறுகிறோம். Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Sahitya Jagannathan, with me,
Divya Vijay,
and we are signing off. Nandri, Vanakkam.